Okay, launching stream now on YouTube and Twitch. Launching stream now on TikTok. And we're good to go. Okay. So hello everybody. Welcome. We are a tiny bit early today, but that's okay. I'd rather be early than late. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi everyone. Okay, there we go. We're back. Hello. It's Tuesday. It's time for Euro Truck. Very exciting. If you couldn't tell by the title of the stream, I'm hosting a convoy today. Very exciting stuff. More information. We'll get to that in a minute. But welcome back. Welcome back to my first Trucking Tuesday in a while, actually. It's been over a month, I think, since we last did Trucking Tuesday, and a lot has changed in that time. There's been a lot of announcements from SCS Software about the game, which we'll get into in just a moment. But it's a very exciting time to be a Euro Truck player, let's just put it that way. And it's going to be a very exciting stream. We'll give it a few minutes for a few more people to join. But once we got a few more people in here, we will be... Well, I'm going to host a convoy. It's been a while since we did a convoy. But the advantage of a convoy is that essentially it gives me a chance to play in single player until people are ready to actually join the convoy. So before we begin, I'm currently in Aberdeen, an Anske official, but before we begin, I must warn you that this is going to be a modded convoy. So if you want to join the convoy, you have to have the right mods. Now, if you're in the Discord server, you can go to the Euro Truck channel, and there is a complete mod list in there. It's a very short list. It's literally just pro mods and then a couple of things from the Steam Workshop. So it's not a massive mod list. But if you want to join today's convoy, you will need to have the right mods. So again, do check out the Trucks channel on the Discord server if you want to know more. And like I was saying earlier, I think the advantage of doing convoys is that if no one joins, then I can just carry on playing single player. You know, it's not a problem. So I'm going to host a convoy. I'm going to do some single player driving, and if people want to join, they're more than welcome to. The convoy is going to just be called Ashendak. Not all caps. It's going to be all lowercase, actually. There we go. And the password is Tuesday. That's all lowercase as well. I think we'll just keep everything as it is. Yep. There we go. Creating convoy, processing mods. Okay. Creating the convoy now. Hey, Beachy. Sorry if I missed ETS streams. Work's been crazy recently. No worries, Beachy. No worries. I'm focusing on Spider-Man. Nice one, kid. Is it on PS5? It's not currently on PS5, but they are going to be releasing Euro Truck on consoles next year. I believe they're aiming for Q3, so it'll be sort of next September time. It will be coming to Xbox Series consoles and the PS5, which is big news. Okay, it's going to lag for a little bit while the convoy's being created, because it's making sure that all the mods are loaded properly and everything like that. Once again, if you want to join the convoy, head to the Discord server, join the Trucks channel, and there will be a mod list there. You will need all of the mods that I'm using to be able to join the convoy, and you will also need all of the map expansions for Euro Truck 2, which is... Currently there's, I believe, 9 map expansions. You will need those to join as well, because they're required for pro mods. I can't believe GTA 6 has another year. I know, kid. I'm very excited for GTA 6, though. We are going to be playing that on stream, I think. Although I guess it depends how good my PC is. My PC struggles with Farming Sim, to be quite honest. But it would be nice to play it on stream when it does release. Did you get your carpets done, says Beachy. I did, Beachy, yes. Carpets are all done now throughout the whole house. Upstairs, downstairs. Not my bedroom, because this got done a few years ago. But yeah, new carpets, all good. Went fairly smoothly. GTA 6 won't be PC on release. Yeah, that's true, Lindsay, that's true, which I think is possibly one of the stupidest decisions Rockstar could have possibly made, but, you know, it is what it is. I don't mind, really. Someone's reported the live stream already. We're literally less than 5 minutes in, and someone's reported my live stream, this time for unoriginal or reproduced content. Let me just go and appeal that on TikTok Live Studio real quick. Okay. Okay, there's no way to appeal it. Good. Once again, fuck you, TikTok. The only reason that I still stream on TikTok is because this is where most of my viewers are. If most of my viewers were on YouTube, I would just completely abandon TikTok, because it's a fucking atrocious place to actually stream to. Again, no hate to you guys, no hate to the viewers, but TikTok Live and TikTok Live Studio, they suck real bad. Unless you're playing RP GTA, then you're wasting your time on PC GTA. I mean, I don't really follow the logic there. The game is going to have a campaign, isn't it? It is going to have a story. Won't be a minute. I should have probably created the convoy before the stream. I didn't realise it was going to take time to process the mods as long as this. But hopefully it won't be too much longer. It's 23 out of 38 done at the minute, so we're nearly there. I'm watching you on YouTube as well. Nice one, kid. I do recommend watching the stream on YouTube. You can see the game a lot better on YouTube because it's landscape. You're using a PC to run a low-frame game. GTA isn't a frame-based game. What do you mean it's not a frame-based game, KC? Every game uses frames. I'm not quite sure I'm following your logic there. So you shouldn't buy GTA 6 on PC because GTA is a frame-based game. No, it's not a frame-based game. I have no idea what that means. And I have a degree in game design, so I know you're talking bollocks. Sorry, no offense, but... YouTube's more behind and laggy, says Kid. I think the YouTube stream does have a slightly larger buffer than the TikTok stream, so it will be like a second or so behind. For example, Fortnite, the better the frames, the better you'll enjoy the game and experience it. GTA, your frames make no difference. I mean, if the frames make no difference, then why would I not buy the game on PC? Again, I'm not quite following your logic. I shouldn't buy the game on PC because the frame rate won't make a difference. It's not adding up for me, I've got to say, Casey. My point is, don't waste a 4 to 5k on a PC game where you don't need a high frame rate. Okay. I think I see your logic, but the thing is, I already have a PC. It's not like I'm going to go out and buy a PC just to play GTA. I already happen to have a PC. Like, I get your logic, I get what you're trying to say. You're saying, you know, don't waste money on a PC just to play GTA on it. But I'm not wasting money on a PC just to play GTA on it. I already have a PC that I play lots of other games on as well. Not aiming at you, I was also speaking for my own choice. Yeah, okay, that I get what you're saying. Yeah, don't... I agree with that, you know, don't waste money on a PC just for the sake of GTA. It's not really worth doing that. Like, if you've already got a console, keep your console, you know. Oh, hang on. Parking brake flipped. Anyway, back to the game. We're in the game now, and the convoy is live. So if you want to join the convoy, you can do it right now. Again, go to the Discord server, go to the Trucks channel in the Discord server, and you will find information on all the mods and stuff that you need to join the convoy. But it is now live, anyone can join. It's a maximum of 8 players. I'll be honest, I don't think anyone's going to join today because I haven't really announced it beforehand, so nobody knew that I was going to be doing a convoy today. But we might get someone later in the stream. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. In the meantime, we will do just a single player delivery. Let's go... Let's start with a short one. Let's do some water tanks from Inverness to Aberdeen. Hi Dagger, how are you doing, by the way? What's your recommendation for graphics for this game? Lowest specs? I don't really know. When it comes to lowest specs for this, KC, I can't give like a specific number, but it's quite low. You don't need a great PC for Euro Truck. When I first got this game, I was playing on a Lenovo IdeaPad laptop, and it ran just fine on, like, medium graphics. This PC that I've got right now, I've got RTX 2070, 8GB graphics card, and 32GB RAM. And I'm currently playing on the highest graphics. I'm playing on ultra graphics right now, which might not come across on the stream because the stream compresses the game quite a bit. But this PC that I've got now runs the game quite comfortably on ultra graphics. But again, even the lowest end PCs, they don't run it too badly as long as you keep the graphics settings quite low. Okay, that was a bit of a waste of time, wasn't it? We could have just driven straight over the road there instead of going down to that roundabout, but never mind. First job, cargo market. Water tanks from Aberdeen, from Inverness to Aberdeen. Let's do it. I thought we were in Aberdeen. We're not in Aberdeen, we're in Inverness. We're going to Aberdeen. Beachy on Twitch, by the way, says, I'm a bit worried about GTA 6. I feel because it's been delayed so much, my expectations will be too high for the game. Oh, don't worry. I think it's safe to say that almost everyone will be disappointed by GTA 6. Not because the game is necessarily going to be bad, but because it's been so massively hyped. It's one of the most hyped up games of like the last 10 years. It cannot possibly live up to the expectations that people have of it. I know for a fact that almost everyone is going to be disappointed with GTA 6. And again, not even for valid reasons, to be honest. Most people are going to be disappointed with it just because it isn't exactly what they're expecting. The thing about the game design industry is nobody's going to buy your game if you don't market it, but then if you market it too much and you build up too much hype, then people's expectations are going to be way too unrealistic, you know? And then you end up with people not being happy with the game, even though you've done the best job that you can, because people have like overhyped it in their own heads and they're expecting more than you can actually deliver. It's a bit of a difficult balancing act to sort of get just the right amount of marketing that people don't get unrealistic expectations of the game, you know. I'm gonna just... Oh, I can't pause because I'm on a convoy now, aren't When I get to somewhere that I can pull over, I'm going to restart the TikTok stream real quick. Just because my the viewership has been restricted. And I don't want that. I want people to actually see my live stream. I'm just going to get to this next petrol station, and while I'm refueling, I'll restart real quick. Again, I know I keep complaining about this, and I'm going to keep complaining about it until TikTok do something about it. But on TikTok, you can just report someone's live stream for any reason whatsoever, and they do not investigate those claims at all. If you report someone's live stream, they will just restrict the live stream immediately with no due process or anything like that. And I know because it happens to me literally every day. Every single stream I've done for the last month, somebody has reported it within the first 5 minutes, and then it gets restricted viewing for the entire rest of the stream. But I'm not going to go on about it because I complained about it yesterday when it also happened in that stream. We'll say no more about it. I'll refuel and I'll restart the stream, and we'll see if that helps us at all. I didn't realise we were so low on fuel as well. Just sort that out. We are tired as well, but will we get to Inverness before we fall asleep is the question. 40 minutes, and we are... It doesn't say how far away we are. Okay. It doesn't matter, because I'm going to pause the game for a second. Just, Oh, welcome to the Discord, Bertie, by the way. I'm going to restart the TikTok live stream. Don't go away. I'm literally just going to restart it and be back in 5 seconds. Okay, and restarting now. Okay, stream restarted. Let's continue. Now the question is, where am I going to sleep? Because I didn't realise that I needed to sleep, and we've already driven past the place where I could sleep. So now I've got a feeling that we're going to have to drive all the way to Inverness, to Aberdeen, before we can sleep. Which is not good, not ideal. We're over 3 hours away, and we need to sleep in less than an hour. Welcome back, everyone, by the way, if you're watching on TikTok. Sorry, I did have to just restart the stream real quick. Oh, Bertie Boy says the mod list on Discord is no access. I'm very sorry about that, Bertie Boys. Just give me a second to pull over, and I will correct that. Very sorry. I should have checked. And of course there's nowhere to pull over right now. I'm just gonna have to pull over here. Okay, there we go. Right, 1 second. Trucks. Convoy mod list. Visit site. Okay. Share. Okay, it does say it says anyone with the link can access, no sign-in required. So you should be able to see it. Is it the actual channel that you can't get into? If you can't get into the channel, it's because you need to give yourself the truck role. When you first join the server, you go to the roles channel and you pick which channels you want to actually see. I know it's a little bit of a it's a little bit time consuming, but it just makes sure that you're not added into every single channel and you don't get pings about stuff that you don't want to see. So make sure you do select your roles in the role channel first, and then you'll be able to access the truck channel. Got the truck roll and it works now, sorry about that. No worries, Bertie boys, no worries. Now you know. Fortunately, the mod list isn't very long. Like I say, most of it is available on the Steam Workshop. The only mods that aren't on the Steam Workshop is the Pro Mods stuff. You will need the entire Pro Mods collection, so that's Pro Mods Europe, Pro Mods Middle East, Pro Mods The Great Step, as well as the Cabin Accessories Pack and the Trailer Pack. But apart from those few, everything else is on the Steam Workshop, so the mod list is fairly accessible, I think. There's not too much there. You will need the DLCs as well, though. Just fair warning for anyone who wants to join. You will need all of the current map expansions for Euro Truck as well. Thanks for following on Twitch, TTV Towler, sorry. Nice to have you here. Okay, so how long before we need to sleep? 0 minutes. We are probably going to end up falling asleep at the wheel, which is always fun. And seems to happen to me every single stream because I forget to sleep before taking on jobs. Thanks for the heart, me, Dre Dog. How are you doing today? Hi, Saul. How are you doing today? I'm doing good, Paul. How are you doing? Great to be back in Euro Truck. Like I was saying earlier, there's been some big announcements since I last played Euro Truck. If you haven't been following, SCS Software have officially announced that they are doing an Ireland DLC. They are bringing the island of Ireland to the game. That includes Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. And they have also announced that they are doing a rework of the UK, which is absolutely huge. I mean, I was literally saying this in the last stream, that they should do an Ireland DLC combined with a rework of the UK. And what happens a few days after that stream? They announce that they're doing an Ireland DLC and a rework of the UK. So, I'm not saying I called it, but I totally called it, and I'm very excited for both of those things. It's going to be good. I'm really excited. The UK is like the single oldest part of the base game that hasn't been updated yet. Every couple of years they like remake a certain part of the map, like they just did Germany, they did the Netherlands quite recently, they're working on Scandinavia as well, but the UK is the oldest part of the game that hasn't been remade in the last few years. So the fact that we're finally getting an update for it, and that the UK is finally going to be up to date with the rest of the map, is really incredible stuff. Do you have Pro Mods? I do have Pro Mods, Carmax, yes. We are using Pro Mods, as well as a couple of Steam Workshop items, but nothing else, nothing major. Apart from Pro Mods, which is quite major. Can you do a challenge like no speeding for 10 deliveries? I would love to do a challenge like that, or else, unfortunately, I would fail a challenge like that after probably the first delivery. I do try to drive safely in this game, but speeding is something that happens quite a lot. I'm very bad at sticking to the speed limit, I will admit. Even when I use cruise control, I just get too tempted to put my foot down and go over the limit. How much did it cost altogether? All the mods are free. No paid mods here. Obviously, I have got all the map expansions, which are all paid, but the mods themselves are all entirely free. What Pro Mods does is it adds in lots of new map areas that aren't available in the base game or with the DLCs. So, for example, I mean, I can't show you the big map right now because I can't pause it while we're driving. But yeah, we can visit a lot of places that you can't visit in the regular Euro Truck map, and it also reworks quite a lot of the map from the existing game as well. Dan says, it actually makes me disgusted how people are in this generation. What have I done that's disgusting, Dan, in particular? Play Euro Truck Simulator? What's disgusting about that? Me too for speed, I sometimes go 90 in a 40 zone. Yep, that's me, Horace. That is how I play this game. I do speed quite a lot. Do you have map combo, says Scottish Modding? Yes, if you want to see the map list, Scottish Modding, it is in the it's in the Discord server in the Trucks channel. Would you do Bus Sim as a one-off stream, and if it's popular, would you do a short series? I did play Bus Sim, Draydog. We played OMSI. I did 2 streams in OMSI last year. I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't really my cup of tea. I've never really been interested in buses, to be honest, and the game itself. I'm sure it's fun for some people, but it just really didn't do much for me, so I didn't really continue the series. Thanks for following, Horace. How much does ProMods cost altogether? It doesn't cost anything. ProMods is free. The game, you have to pay for the game, and you have to pay for the official map DLCs, but you don't have to pay for ProMods. It's completely free. Do you have a clutch? I don't have a clutch, Sizable Straw, unfortunately. I've only got 2 pedals, brake and accelerate. Fortunately, Euro Truck allows you to do automatic clutch, so I can change gears by just moving the gear stick without having to push down a clutch pedal. But I would like to get a clutch pedal for, you know, a bit more realism. For all the map DLC combined, I've no idea. I've no idea how much all the maps combined cost CarMax, because I bought them over like several years, and some of them on sale. I don't know. I don't know how much you'd have to pay to get all the map DLCs. Get a Logitech G29. I won't be getting a Logitech G29 purely because it's a racing wheel and I don't play racing games. I need a heavy duty wheel, which is why I've got the heavy equipment wheel here from Logitech. Do you reckon the Ireland update and UK rework would break all the mods, says Pappy Chuckle? To some extent. To some extent. But I think modders will quickly adapt to it. Something similar happened when the West Balkans DLC came out, because Pro Mods already added in all of the West Balkan countries. So they had to release a version of... Hold on, let me just put my wipers on. They had to release a version of Pro Mods that didn't include the West Balkans DLC while they kind of figured out how to make Pro Mods and the DLC work together. I think something similar will probably happen when the UK DLC comes out. It'll take a little bit of time for modders to, you know, adapt the mods to make it work. But it'll happen in time, you know. What game are you playing? This is ETS 2, Euro Truck Simulator 2. We've just entered Aberdeen. How many map DLCs are there? There are 9 DLCs currently. CarMax. I couldn't name them off the top of my head, but there are 9 map expansions for the game currently. Draydog says, I'm staying off Facebook till Christmas next year because these fake Doctor Who rumours. Oh yeah. Facebook is terrible for Doctor Who rumours. But then again, social media in general is terrible for rumours of any kind for any TV show. The best thing to do is just stick your fingers in your ears and ignore the rumours, or as you say, just stay off social media if you don't want any spoilers. Sometimes those rumours do unfortunately turn out to be true. I'm pretty sure Spoilers if you haven't watched the series finale of Doctor Who, by the way, but I'm pretty sure that Billie Piper coming back was a rumour that turned out to be true. So it is best to just avoid rumours altogether, because you don't know which ones are going to turn out to be true and which ones are just rumours. Bonjour, Spooky Satan. How are you doing? You tired? Find somewhere to rest. I know I do need to find somewhere to rest. We are very close to... Oh, there we go. That's why we need to find somewhere to rest. We're very, very close to the final delivery point now, though. It's literally just round this next corner. So I'm hopefully going to stay awake just long enough to get there. And then we're going to need to sleep very, very urgently. Is this place you're at a DLC? I think this is Pro Mods, so it's not a DLC area, but it is a modded area. Okay, here we are. Thanks for following Megamind22472. How are you doing? Right, we made it. Can I see your lorry? You can indeed, Carmax. We're going to need to go outside now to reverse anyway. This is my truck. It's a Scania Streamline R730. It is, of course, in the colours of the Trans Pride flag for obvious reasons. But this is my favourite truck. I've driven this more than any of my other trucks. I do own, I think, like 10 or 11 trucks in the game, but I almost exclusively use this one. It's just my favourite one. Thanks for following H42Y15, by the way. How are you doing today, says Ernest Beef. I'm very good, Ernest. How are you? First 1,000 likes, my finger is tired from tapping. Thank you for all the likes, Oras. It's very much appreciated. Okay. First delivery of the day done. We need to get to a rest point immediately. There's one here, but it's also a garage. Oh no, it's a repair place. We can sleep there. That's okay. Can I put this window back up? I think it'll probably stop raining once we've slept, so... what's your favourite games to play, says H42Y15. All the games that I play on stream, for a start, H42. That's why I play the games that I play on stream, you know. I try to play games that I personally enjoy. Because the thing is, a lot of streamers will just play whatever's recommended to them, even if they don't enjoy it, and I don't understand that. Okay, we're gonna crash. Oh my god, we just driven through a hole in the world. Just back up. But yeah, I do take recommendations, and you know, if you have any games that you would like me to play, feel free to make suggestions. But really, I only play games that I actually enjoy playing on stream. You know, that's why I play stuff like Minecraft, Farming Sim, stuff like that. Do these sims do damage and breakdown simulation? To an extent, Spooky Satan. There's no visual damage to the truck, but the truck can get damaged, and it performs worse as it gets damaged. You can, you know, lose horsepower, and you know, your top speed gets reduced and stuff like that. You might grind gears every now and then. Like I say, there's no visible damage. You can't see like dints and stuff like that. You can't see chipped paint or scrapes, but the truck does like lose performance as it gets damaged, and you can have a total breakdown, in which case you need to be towed. I've just fallen asleep again. We desperately need to get to a rest point right now. Do you play Train Sim World 5? Because I don't see people playing that a lot anymore. I don't really enjoy Train Sim World, to be honest with you. I'm a big Train Sim Classic fan. I play Train Sim Classic a lot, and I'm actually working on my own mod for Train Sim Classic at the minute, which I'm hoping to release by the end of the year. But Train Sim World, I just can't really get into it, to be honest. I find Train Sim Classic much more enjoyable and much more... I think there's a lot more to Train Sim Classic. The thing about Train Sim World is, I think it deceives people because it's very shiny and very, you know, the graphics are very shiny and clean, and it kind of tricks people into thinking that it's a better game than Train Sim Classic. But I don't think it is. I've always thought that Train Sim Classic was the superior game, to be quite honest. The game name, Danny, is Euro Truck Simulator 2, by the way. I'm dozing again. Okay, we are at the rest point. This is literally where we've come to sleep. Okay, we're here. Let's sleep now before I am involved in a serious accident because I fell asleep at the wheel. Here we go, we're sleeping. Thank God for that. Oh, we don't actually sleep because we're on convoy mode. We grab a coffee instead, but same difference. And we're probably going to need some repairs as well while we're here. Yeah, oh, the trailer's quite badly damaged. Tyrese says, I'm driving my Scania T-Cab on ETS2 and I crashed into a police car. Damn, sorry to hear that, Tyrese. Thanks for following CarMax GT, by the way. How long have you been trans? I've been out for about 4.5 years. I came out in June, July of 2021. Okay, there we go. We're just going to take recommended service options for now. I don't want to spend too much money. Hello, Charlie. How are you doing? Is this Pro Mods? It looks more realistic than mine. It is Pro Mods, Derek, yes. I've also got a few graphics mods from the Steam Workshop. We got realistic, brutal graphics and weather, realistic lights, realistic fog, a few other bits and pieces. It's mostly Steam Workshop stuff. But yeah, we got a few graphics mods, and we also have Pro Mods as well. Let me just check the Convoy menu, by the way, just in case anyone's joined and I haven't noticed. Busy, says Charlie. No worries, Charlie. Glad to have you here anyway. Okay, that's not promising. Okay, there we go. Now, how do I see my stream? Do I just type it in? Wait, actually, no, it'll say it here. Right, there we go. It says here. Still only me. Still only me. But if anyone else wants to join, like I said earlier, check out the Trucks channel in the Discord server, and it'll tell you which mods you need to be able to join. When will you get a new voice, says SBG. When I can be bothered to do voice training, which I currently cannot. Look, I would love to have a more feminine voice. I hate my voice just as much as I'm sure my audience does. But until I can actually put in the effort to do voice training, I'm stuck with it. So you're unfortunately stuck with it as well. 1 second. Hey, Scottish Moddin, thank you for joining the Discord server. Welcome aboard. Why am I not... Oh, I'm still tapped out. There we go. Hi, Ashbridge. Hi, Reese. How you doing? How does Pro Mods work, says Derek Price. It's basically just a mod. You do need to own all of the official map DLCs to be able to get Pro Mods. But it's just a mod that adds in a few new map areas and overhauls some of the existing map and stuff like that. I've also got Pro Mods Middle East and Pro Mods The Great Steppe, which add in a few areas in, you know, Eastern Europe, Western Asia, and a few areas in Russia as well. which we haven't actually visited in a while, and since we're in England right now, well, we're in Scotland right now, we're probably not going to visit them for a while. Thanks for following Orthodoxy is the Truth. My bad for the question mark. No worries, Reese. I'm doing good. Thank you very much. How are you? Derek says, I think it's just Vive la France and Italy that I need to buy then. Yeah, like I say, you will need all the map DLCs, but if you've already got most of them, then it's not too much left to get. I'm very much one of those people, though, with this game, I'm very much one of those people who, as soon as a new map DLC comes out, I'm buying it straight away. I've already got Nordic Horizons on my wish list. I've already got the Island rework on my wish list, and they literally only announced that a week ago. Whenever a new map comes out for this game, it goes straight into my cart on Steam. You're welcome, love your content. Thank you, Orthodoxy is the Truth. Where is the zone marker here? The visibility has gotten very low all of a sudden. Once again, I am playing with the realistic fog mod, so visibility is going to be quite affected when the fog gets heavy, like it is right now. Put some fog lights on. I think, have we not got... I think those are our high beams. Do we have fog lights? Let me have a look. Controls, keys and buttons. Fog. We don't have dedicated fog lights, unfortunately. I have got my high beams on, but they aren't really doing much. Have you played Dead by Daylight before? I have, Charlie, yeah. Not my cup of tea, to be honest. I couldn't really get into it. But I have played Dead by Daylight with a few friends a couple of years back. Okay, site dumper, let's take it. Can I give you a Train Sim Classic route request? You certainly can, Reese. If there's anything you want to recommend, by all means go ahead. I'm probably not going to be playing Train Sim for a while, though, because, to be quite honest, I've spent so much time working on Train Sim that I don't want to play it anymore at the minute. I've like I say, I've been dedicating so much time to working on my Durham Coastline project that I just don't really want to play the game right now. The project is coming along very nicely, by the way. If you want to play it, it's going to be released hopefully by the end of the year. I'm just working on the new footbridge at Hartlepool. But pretty much everything else is done. I've done the footbridge at Billingham, I've done Stockton, I've extended the platforms at Middlesbrough. A lot of work's gone into it. Like I say, it's pretty much just Hartlepool still to do, but once that's done, I'm hoping to release it by the end of the year. Nothing wrong with your voice, it's very soothing. Thank you, Bertie Boys. That's very kind of you to say so. Okay, let's get going. The fog's cleared up a little bit, but it is still raining. I'm going to open my right window, my driver's side window, just so that I can see in the rearview mirror, the wing mirror. Which pronouns? She, her. Thanks for asking, Dempsey. Have a little drink. I feel like I've been talking non-stop for the last half an hour. Very active chat today, so thank you everyone, I appreciate it. My voice does not, but I do. I'm always here for conversation, you know me. Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. Thanks, Josh. How are you doing? Can you do the Greater Anglia service for Norwich, says Reese. We can definitely take a look at some Greater Anglia stuff. Unfortunately, the Great Eastern Main Line isn't, or the whole Great Eastern Main Line isn't in the game. We can go from London Liverpool Street as far as Ipswich, I believe. But the route doesn't go all the way to Norwich, unfortunately, so I can't do a full drive from London to Norwich. But I could definitely do London to Ipswich. We could do the Wherry Lines. The Wherry Lines is one of my favourite routes for Train Sim Classic. Norwich to Great Yarmouth and the other place that's near Great Yarmouth, I forget off the top of my head. Someone will probably tell me. But yeah, the Wherry Lines is a really great route that I'd definitely love to check out on stream at some point, because I don't think we've ever driven it on stream before. Do you enjoy polluting kids' minds, says your mum? Yeah, polluting kids' minds is one of my favourite things to do. I just love indoctrinating children and forcing them to be transgender. I've got a nephew who's 3 years old, but by the time he's 8, he's going to be my niece, because I'm going to force him to be transgender like his auntie. Because that's what trans people do. We just force every single child that we see to become transgender. That's how it works. Is Train Sim tomorrow or Thursday, says Draydog. There is no Train Sim on the schedule at the minute, Draydog, unfortunately. Like I was saying earlier, because I'm working on my Train Sim project, lightning over there. Because I'm working on my Train Sim project, I've been in Train Simulator so much recently that I don't really want to play it right now. So I'm not going to be playing Train Sim for a while. Currently, well, this week I'm going to be doing Factorio on Thursday and Farming Sim on Friday. That's the plan. What'll happen if you run a red light? If you run a red light, you will get a ticket, which results in a fine. There's no real punishment in this game apart from fines, which once you've got 12.6 mil, it doesn't really affect you that much. But you can get fined for all sorts of things. Speeding can get you a fine, running red lights, driving on the wrong side of the road, not having your headlights on at night time. There's a few things that can get you a fine in the game. Is this game just PC? It is at the minute, Daniel, yes. They are going to be releasing this game for consoles in Q3 2026. So next September sort of time. The game is going to be coming to console, but right now it's PC only. Hey BPL, how are you doing today? Is that a Logitech wheel? It is, Daniel, yes. This is the Logitech G heavy equipment wheel. It's designed for farming sim, but it works great for any heavy-duty vehicles. You know, Euro Truck, Mud Runner, Snow Runner, OMSI, whatever you want to drive. It's really great for heavy-duty driving. Great wheel, very cheap, but you get what you pay for. You know, it's a good place to start if you want to get like your first wheel. This is a very good starting point. I do recommend it. Do you need high beam on, says Paul? There we go. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, it doesn't make too much of a difference. In fact, we might be alright without it, to be honest. It would have been nice to use that earlier when it was foggy, though. I didn't realise that I didn't have my high beams on. Thank you for the heads up there. When's ETS coming to console? Next September. Well, they just said Q3, so they're aiming for next September, October kind of time. I'm just going to ask, are you trans? I am indeed, Finley. Yes, I am transgender. I was born male, raised as a boy. I came out about 4.5 years ago, and I've lived as a woman ever since. Will Euro Truck come to PS4? I don't know if it's coming to PS4. It's definitely going to be coming to the current generation of consoles, so PS5 and Xbox Series. But I don't know if it's going to be coming to last gen. I would say probably not, to be honest. I think we're getting to that stage now where PS4 and Xbox One are starting to be left behind. Which is fair enough, because they're quite old consoles at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't come to PS4, to be honest. I wouldn't get your hopes up. Do you like women or men? Yeah, I like both. Crash and bash them. I'm not fussy. Is this your main job? Says RJ. This isn't my main job. No, it would be nice to make enough money off this to live off, but unfortunately, I don't. I make a little bit. I get gifts on stream, and I do have my wonderful Patreon supporters here. Thank you, everyone there. But definitely not enough to survive on. What is your main job? Right now, I'm between jobs, to be quite honest with you. My most recent job was as a graphic designer. I worked in a print shop doing like business cards, brochures, stuff like that, posters for local businesses, which was very good experience. It's not quite what I want to be doing. I want to be doing something more game design focused. I have a degree in game design, and I'd love to work for a big development studio. So yeah, it wasn't quite what I wanted to be doing, but it was good experience. You know, graphic design and game design do, you know, go hand in hand to some extent. There's a lot of transferable skills there, so it was definitely... I appreciated the experience. Chat soon, got to go. No worries, Paul. We'll see you later. See you later. I am going to put my high beams on while we're on the country roads because there's no street lights. Couldn't you apply internationally for game design, like remotely? Unfortunately not, Welshie. Believe it or not, game design is still not widely done remotely. There's a lot of hybrid working. You know, I've got a lot of friends who work within the industry, and there's a lot of hybrid working where you work from home half the time and like go into the office half the time. But surprisingly, there aren't many game design jobs that are completely remote. And definitely not internationally, unfortunately. It would be great. But there's always, no matter what job it is, there's always, you know, you'll have to come into the office at least like once a month or whatever. I'm stuck on this hill because I'm in 12th gear. Whoops. Surely there's some small UK game developers that would give you a job. I'm always on the lookout. I've got a LinkedIn profile, and I keep my web portfolio up to date. I'm always on the lookout for game design related jobs. Someone actually mentioned the other day Rockstar, which I didn't realise that Rockstar have a studio in Leeds. And the studio in Leeds are working on GTA 6. I had no idea. That's like right on my doorstep. I live in Doncaster. Like, I'm one single train ride away from Leeds. And I had no idea. I'm not saying that I'm going to apply for a job. I'm not saying that I'm definitely going to apply for a job at Rockstar Games, but it's interesting information, which I will keep in mind for future reference. Thanks for following, PL. Pappy Chuckle says, Dovetail devs are close to me. Used to see job applications for them on Indeed. That's cool, Pappy Chuckle. As far as I'm aware, there are no studios in Doncaster itself, but there's a few smaller studios in Sheffield. Like say, Rockstar's up in Leeds. There isn't a great deal in the north of England. There's quite a lot down south, which is why I'd quite like to get back down there. When I was at university, I lived in Bath. There's quite a lot going on in Bristol, Birmingham, you know, sort of the Midlands and southwest, southeast. There's quite a lot of game design stuff going on there. There is stuff in the north, but it's a lot more spread out, you know. It's not quite as... It hasn't quite permeated as much as it has down south, which is part of the reason that I'd like to move down to Bristol. Definitely a lot more game design related opportunities in that area. TS Sunny says the devs of Phasmophobia are in my town, Cambridge. That's cool, TS Sunny. I love Phasmophobia, big Phasmo fan. I'm southeast. Unfortunately, the experience they needed was ridiculous. Yeah, I think the unfortunate thing about the game design industry is there is quite a high demand for experience. The problem is the market is very saturated. There's a lot of applicants and not a lot of jobs. So inevitably what ends up happening is developers will like set their standards really, really high when they're hiring new employees. So you do end up with jobs that are demanding really, really high, there's a very high barrier to entry on experience, which is unfortunate. Hi Taro Fox, how are you doing? Hence the pop-up of indie stuff now. That's very true, Pappy Chuckle. Indie games have been making a bit of a resurgence over the last few years. Indie games are one of those things that they just keep coming back. Like every few years there'll be a massive explosion of new indie games. I remember in like the early 2010s, indie games were absolutely huge. Then towards like the end of the 2010s, they made a bit of a comeback, and now in the last couple of years, there's another kind of wave of them coming through. I think indie game. I mean, I love indie games. I'm absolutely always happy to support indie developers, and if in an ideal world, I'd love to be an indie developer and develop my own games as part of like a small independent studio. Massive appreciation for indie games. But yeah, it's a strange industry, let's just say. You've got the big studios and you've got the tiny little indie studios, and somewhere in the middle you've got a million people trying to get a job. What's happening with gaming nowadays seems to be lacking, says Welshie. Yeah, unfortunately, I've said it before, I think it's not just the game development industry. I think every industry, inevitably, you'll see a few big companies will have a monopoly and they'll end up putting, loads of small businesses out of business. But what tends to happen, you see, like I say, you see it a lot within the game design industry, but it does happen within other industries as well. What tends to happen is you get these big AAA studios who have hundreds of billions of dollars, and they really can afford to just throw money at the wall. So they'll just pump out like 5 or 6 absolute pieces of shit every single year. And because consumers gotta consume, they'll buy it. And so those studios, it's a vicious cycle, big AAA studios, they'll pump out the same soulless piece of crap 5 times a year, everyone buys it, so they go, let's do the same thing again next year and make 5 more soulless pieces of crap, and so on and so forth, So you end up with an industry where you've got all these indie developers who are pouring their heart and soul into these really well-made, artistically designed games, just for them to, not be able to get off the ground. Meanwhile, at the top of the pile, you've got these AAA studios, multi-billion-dollar studios that are just making absolute crap because they can afford to literally just throw money at their problems. It's not great, but it's what it is. That's the system. Like I say, I think it happens in every industry. Inevitably, there'll always end up being a few big names at the top of the pile, and everyone else at the bottom is just struggling to get their, family-owned business off the ground. That's the capitalist system, baby. That's life. Why are you wearing lipstick, says Steel Fox? Because I like lipstick, Steel Fox, and I want to wear it. Not even trying to sound feminine. No, you've got a point there. I'm not trying to sound feminine. I don't really need to. I don't really see the point, to be quite honest. I've said before, I'm not really a big fan of the sound of my own voice. I've never really liked the sound of my own voice. But I also have never really seen the point in voice training. If you want to do it, that's fair enough. I understand why people... I understand why a lot of people want or need to do voice training. But for me personally, this is my voice. I don't like it, but it is my natural speaking voice, and I don't see why I should have to change it for the comfort of other people. You know what I mean? I don't think I should change my voice just because other people have an expectation of what a woman is supposed to sound like. This is what I sound like. It is what it is. Again, I don't really see the point in changing it for the benefit of other people. If I eventually do voice training, it will be for my own benefit because I don't like the sound of my own voice. I'm not going to do it just because I want other people to like the sound of my voice. You know what I mean? The thing, and I think, again, something that a lot of people misunderstand about trans people is none of what I do is for your benefit at all. Like, wearing this dress, that's not for your benefit. Wearing lipstick and makeup, that's not for your benefit. It's for mine. Everything I do is for myself. Sorry if that sounds a little bit selfish, but the point that I'm trying to make is, like, I'm not putting on a dress and lipstick to make you think that I'm a woman. I already am a woman, and I'm putting on makeup and a dress because I want to put on makeup and a dress, if that makes sense, you know? Anyway, back to the game. I completely respect that. Thank you, Welshie. It's clearly for yourself, can't see why anyone would think otherwise. Exactly, Welshie, exactly. Unfortunately, I think people do tend to have this attitude of, you know, how does what you're doing benefit me? They can't understand the idea of someone, you know, just doing something for themselves and to make themselves feel comfortable. Like I say, I think this is a big misunderstanding that people have about trans people. Like, I don't dress like this because I want you to think that I'm a woman. I dress like this because I want to dress like this. You know, that's it. It's a separate thing. And I think a lot of people misunderstand being trans. They think that being trans is just about making yourself look like a woman to, like, trick people or something like that, which obviously it's not about that at all. Like I say, I don't dress like this to make myself look like a woman. I dress like this because I want to dress like this. Tara Fox says, because they perform for other people and they don't understand the act of self-expression. That's very true. That's very true. I think a big part of it is that people, you know, that they themselves have maybe issues with the way that they present and their body image and stuff like that. I see it a lot. I don't want to try and... I'm not trying to, like, single people out, but I see it a lot with cis men. It's become a bit of a meme at this point that cis men are, like, terrified of accidentally looking gay. You know, like, oh, if I like this, if I like wearing pink, does that make me gay? Oh, if I like drinking, you know, cocktails, does that make me gay? And although it's a bit of a joke at this point, it is true. There are a lot of men out there who deliberately don't do things because they don't want to be perceived as being gay. You know, and it ends up, you end up with this situation where people are deliberately choosing not to do things that make them happy because they don't want other people to look at them and think that they're gay. Again, people have issues with self-expression because they don't want to be perceived a certain way societally. Well, she says, I suppose more people more often live a life nowadays to impress others. Yeah, again, same thing. I don't think I was supposed to indicate there. I get confused at light-controlled roundabouts, I'll be honest. Thanks for following, TomTom. Okay, I am supposed to indicate here because I'm coming off the roundabout. Okay, and we're on the A1, the good old A1. So wait, is this Scotch Corner then? I've still got my wipers on, by the way. It stopped raining like half an hour ago. Is there a mod to increase traffic, says Pappy Chuckle? There is, yes. I have that mod. It's called Realistic Traffic Density. Not only does it add more traffic during the day, but it obviously reduces traffic at night as well. So it balances the traffic, basically. So sometimes there'll be more, sometimes there'll be less. How long you been driving, says Adam. Today we've been live for just over an hour, Adam. Bella says, I'm not majorly bi, mostly just straight, to be fair. I understand that, Bella. I understand, you know... I think, kinda, I feel the same way, where I definitely have a preference towards women, but I'm also attracted to men. You know, it's like... I'm okay with both, but I'd rather go one way than the other, you know? And that's okay. It's okay to be, like, bisexual or pansexual and have a preference. And for me personally, I don't find men unattractive, but I find women more attractive, you know. But even that's a bit of an oversimplification, because it's a case, you know, it's a case-by-case thing, you know. I can't, like, universally say that I find every single woman attractive, or that I find every single man unattractive, you know. Which is why sexuality is such a weird thing to me, because, like, when people say, oh, do you like women or men, it's like, well, I like women, but I don't like every single woman that's ever lived, you know, it's... And at the same time, I like men, but not all men. There's definitely some men that I don't find attractive. It's kind of, you know, sexuality is weird. Why? I don't understand why I should say outright, you know, I like women or I like men. It's just, I like who I like. Sometimes they might be a woman, sometimes they might be a man. Doesn't matter. I like what I like. That's my attitude to sexuality, anyway. What's AMA? AMA stands for Ask Me Anything, Austin. If sexuality was a choice, I wouldn't be attracted to men, says Taro Fox. Fair enough, fair enough. You're moving the steering wheel and it's not moving, only moves when you move your steering wheel a certain amount. Yes, I've got a small dead zone, Jay. Unfortunately, that's because the wheel itself, the actual physical wheel on my desk, is quite worn out. I've had it for quite a few years. So the components inside it are a little bit run down. I do have to turn the wheel a little bit further to actually get the in-game wheel to respond. What's AMA, says Oras. AMA stands for Ask Me Anything, Oras. I'm here to answer questions. I'm here to be an open book. You know, the thing for me about the reason that I even do live streams in the first place is so that I can answer your questions and talk to you, right? Like, if I didn't want to talk to you, I could just do a video. The whole reason that I do live streams is so that I can chat to the audience, you know, have conversations and answer questions. No, you do it for money, says JB. Well, if I did it for money, I would have starved to death a long time ago, because I make, on average, about 50 pence per stream. I make barely any money doing this. Won't answer me, says Jack Newell. I didn't see your question, Jack. Thanks for the roses, by the way, OB2025. Much appreciated. Okay, we are going a bit fast here. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, let's hit the cruise control. Why are you playing Truck Sim on Tuesday, says Joe Rob. I always play Truck Sim on Tuesday, Joe Rob. That's why it's called Trucking Tuesday. Tuesday is my dedicated Euro Truck Sim day. Lovealistic, thank you, Fashion, thank you very much. I don't wear the red very often, and in fact it might not look very red on the stream, but it is. It's like a really, really vibrant red. Put the beacon on. The beacon doesn't work for Euro Truck, Joe Rob, I'm sorry to say. It does sometimes, but it's very temperamental. Can't really blame it. It wasn't designed for Euro Truck, it was designed for Farming Sim, so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Jack Newell says, so it's not AMA then. Okay, so because I have a few flagged words that I don't allow in my comment section, therefore it's not really AMA. Okay, so technically it's not AMA. Okay, you can't ask me literally anything. You can't come on my stream and say, would you rather eat a live badger or put 50,000 bees down your trousers? You can't ask me that. So technically you can't ask me literally anything. You got me, it's not really ask me anything. You can ask me almost anything. Happy now? In fact, you probably could ask me if I'd rather eat a live badger or put 50,000 bees down my trousers. I don't think any of those words are censored, so if anyone was wondering if that question's been pressing on anyone, feel free to ask it. see if it goes through. But you see the point that I was making, okay? I was just trying to make a point. I'm going to turn the high beams off now because it's getting light. Look at those God rays, by the way. Pretty cool. I like that. Hi, Dimples. How you doing? Where even are we right now? I don't know. The thing is, I can't pause the game to look at the map because I'm technically on convoy mode, so we can't pull over and look at the map. Not too bad, you. I'm very good, Dimples, thank you. Good stream so far. We're only, literally only an hour in, and it's been quite lively so far, so I'm happy about that. Are you on Truckers MP? I'm not, Dimples, no. I'm hosting a convoy. Currently, there's only me here, but if you do want to join the convoy, you are more than welcome. You will need to download pro mods and a couple of things from the Steam Workshop. Join the Discord server and check out the Trucks channel if you want to see the full mod list. But anyone's welcome to join. At the minute, it's just me. Fashion says, I want pro mods so bad, but I've only got 2 DLCs. I'm sorry about that, Fashion. The good news is that the DLCs for this game are on sale very frequently. They might even be on sale right now, to be honest. So if you don't have them all, just wait until there's a sale. Like I say, they're on sale all the time, and you know, just pick them up when you can. What's the orange lamp? This is a beacon light. This came with the collector's edition of Farming Sim 22. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with Euro Truck. Sometimes it does, but it's very temperamental. It doesn't work very reliably with Euro Truck. But it is a working beacon light. It does flash properly, and it responds to the in-game beacon in Farming Sim. Which is very cool. Anyone else in the lobby, says Charlie. Still just me at the minute, Charlie. Like I said, I don't know if we'll see anyone else soon. Maybe. You need petroleum? We do indeed, Fashion, yes. Well, diesel, but yes. We are starting to run low. I'm wondering, there'll probably be something. I think we're getting the ferry from Hull. So there'll be a petrol station in Hull, surely. Scary, says Zeus the Bull Terrier. Me? I'm scary? Okay, if you say so. I mean, people love to say that transphobia isn't a fear. Like, I'm not transphobic, because transphobia means fear, and I'm not scared of you. But then almost every day I get someone commenting scary in my live stream, so is it a fear or is it not a fear? It kind of sounds like you are scared. It kind of sounds like some of you are genuinely terrified at my mere existence. My missus would be scared if you was in the toilet, said Zeus. I mean, yeah, if I went into a toilet and someone was in the actual toilet, I'd be pretty scared too. That sounds terrifying. How the hell did they get in there? Cat, says Fashion. We got a cat. Yes, we do have a cat. We got a cat on the dashboard. This is from a fantastic mod called Farzel's Cab Cat, which is on the Steam Workshop. You can choose which kind of cat as well. You can get a tabby, a ginger, a calico. I've got a black and white one because my favourite childhood cat, Gizmo, was a black and white cat. But yeah, it's animated as well. He rolls around. Sometimes he licks his bollocks. You know, normal boy cat stuff. But they're really cute. I've got a dog mod. Nice one, Fashion. That's cool. Does the dog sit on the driver's seat? The passenger seat, sorry, I'm guessing. The cat is teens, says Zeus the Bull Terrier. Not sure what teens means, Zeus. Unless you meant to say trans and that was a typo, in which case cats can't actually be transgender because they have no concept of gender. Yes, and a bed as well. Nice one, Fashion. I think I've got a cat bed in the... Oh no, I don't. You can get a cat bed for the what do you call it? The cabin behind the sleeping area. I don't know the technical name, but like I say, my cat just sleeps on the dashboard. Where I can see him without having to turn my neck all the way around to see behind me. What's going on here? Why are you stopped in the middle of a roundabout? Okay, here we are, Hull. Or Kingston upon Hull, to give it its proper title, which literally nobody ever does. whoa. Okay. Weber's optimum solution. Nearly rear-ended you there. That would have been bad. Oh, he's going left as well. Okay. And he's not moving because there's a red light. Okay, sorry. I was about to get angry, but there is a red light. That's fair enough. Have a drink. And we're off. My guy play R6, says Sebastian. What is R6? I don't actually know what that is. Okay, destinations. Travel to... oh wait, where are we supposed to be going? I think Esbjerg. Let me check the map. Yes, Esbjerg. Okay. Oh, Rainbow Six Siege. I've never actually played Rainbow Six Siege. I'm not a big fan of first-person shooters, to be honest. I've never really been massively into first-person shooters. With a couple of exceptions. I like Call of Duty, but only for the zombies. Like, I literally bought Black Ops 3 just to play the zombies. I couldn't care less about the campaign or the multiplayer, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, not really a first-person shooter fan. Rhodium92 says, this is a distraction, grave to see. I need to bleach my eyes. Well, it does say in the Bible that if you have lustful thoughts for a woman, you should pluck your own eyes out. So, sorry, if you're feeling lustful towards me, you know what you gotta do. Woo, there's a bus there. You don't belong, says 10. Well, it's my live stream, so I'd say it's probably you who doesn't belong. Read the room. Okay, he's just spamming now. This is what they do when they run out of arguments. Just spam the same thing over and over and over again, and I will, you know, obviously block him when I have a chance to pull over. Although they normally have an attention span of about 3 seconds, so he'll probably just stop spamming after a few minutes. Oh, Catman Charlie blocked him. Thank you, Charlie. People make themselves look so stupid. They really do, Welshie. They really do. It happens so often. People will join. They'll, like, leave one negative comment, and when it doesn't get the intended reaction, they'll just spam it over and over and over again. Like, if I don't react to it the first time, maybe I'll react to it the 500th time, you know? Hey, you okay? I'm very good, Ollie. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. What monitor do you use, says BH. My main monitor is actually a smart TV. I've got a 32-inch TCL smart TV. I can't remember the exact model number, but this is my main monitor. I've actually got 4 monitors, but the one that I use most for my games is the smart TV. I've also got a HP Compact. That's my second monitor that I use for Minecraft and Factorio, and any other keyboard and mouse games. You can see my keyboard there. I've got a third monitor, which is just there, and that's got my chat on it at the minute, and then I've got my tiny monitor, which has got the display on it. Woo! Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted from the game. I was going to do that, but aren't TVs restricted to like 60 FPS max? They are, Welshie, yeah. I always cap my games at 60 FPS anyway. I'll be quite honest, I don't really notice much difference above 60 FPS, and I'm not really bothered about playing above 60 FPS, to be quite honest. So it doesn't really bother me. If you do want to play above 60 FPS, then, you know, most smart TVs will unfortunately not be suitable for that. But yeah, for me personally, most of the games that I play, I'm fine playing them at 60 FPS. Like Euro Truck, Farming Sim, that's 60 FPS is fine. I suppose it matters more with a different type of game. DayZ mostly for me. Yeah, that's true as well, Welshie. Like I said, I don't really play any games where high frame rate is a priority. Stuff like Minecraft and Factorio and, you know, Train Simulator, it doesn't really matter if you're only at 60 frames. You're very pretty. Thank you, Ollie. Thank you very much. That's kind of you. Do we still need to sleep, by the way? We don't, but we do need fuel. Okay. Oh, we got 14 litres of fuel left? Holy shit, I didn't realise we were that low. Oh, we're going to need to do an emergency refueling. We have 9 litres of fuel left. Okay. Okay. Yep. We're going to need to do an emergency refueling. I'm going to have to find somewhere to pull over on the hard shoulder. I did not realise we'd used that much. I don't really want to pull over near a junction. Hopefully we can get past this junction and then... I see a camera icon on the map. That means there's a lay-by with a viewpoint in it, so we'll pull into that lay-by. Presuming it's on this side of the road, which hopefully it is. We are out of fuel completely. Okay. Yep, I don't think we're making it to this lay-by. We're going to have to pull over here. Hazards on. Handbrake on. Okay. F9. F7, sorry. Okay, emergency refueling. Emergency refueling, give you 50 litres of diesel. Yep, that will do. Okay. Now that only gives us 50 litres, so we still very desperately need to get to a petrol station. But we got a little bit in the tank to help us get there now. Hey, how's it going, Neil? How are you? Welcome. Hercules says, for fuck's sake, can't get away from these fucking weirdos. I know, it's mad, isn't it, Hercules? Everywhere you look, there's trans people. It's almost like they're just normal people who have the exact same lives as you do. And you're eventually going to see them out and about. I'm going to school, going Saul, got a school run. No worries, Charlie. See you later, maybe. Thanks for following, Harry. Much appreciated. I'll drop on when I can. Nice one, Charlie. Jagsy says, never get why people hate as it doesn't actually affect them. Thank you, Jagsy. Exactly. You would think. 24838 says, I feel for the youth. They must be so confused. Not sure what's confusing about it. I've got a 3-year-old nephew. He knows that I a trans woman. Well, he doesn't really understand the concept of transgender because he's 3, but he knows that I'm his auntie. He calls me his auntie, and he's, you know, he's never treated me any differently. I think the only thing that would confuse him is if someone started telling him, you know, your auntie, she's actually a man. I think that might confuse a child, you know, if you start telling them things that are contradictory to their own reality that they are aware of, you know. There's always this talk about confusing kids, but believe you me, the only thing that confuses kids is when you start arguments with trans people and try to convince them that trans people don't exist. Oh, Odent Zoo? Oh, I'd love a day at the zoo. I don't think we can actually visit the zoo, unfortunately, but it's nice to know that there is a zoo here. Okay, I am going to do my emergency refueling before I finish the delivery, because it's right around this corner, and we are back to 9 litres of fuel again. Can I hear your other voice, says Donut? This is my only voice, I'm afraid, Donut. I haven't done any voice training. This is the only voice I have. Believe me, I don't like it any more than you do, but I'm stuck with it. I think we're actually going to run out of fuel again. Okay, I'm going to drive really slowly the rest of the way because the petrol station is literally right around this corner. It's there. You can see the petrol station. It's literally there. I just need to get there without running out of fuel, because I don't want to pay for another emergency refueling. It's pronounced Oensay. Okay, thank you for letting me know. You learn something new every day, so we are at Oensay now. Okay, I'm just going to assume that you're letting me go. Thank you. Okay. Oh, 1 mile left. We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. Are you kidding me right now? Are you actually fucking joking? Come on. Come on, please. Come on. I am not doing an emergency refuel when I'm 50 fucking feet away from the petrol station. Are you joking? Oh my god. Come on. Come on, you can make it. You can make it. I'm still moving. I haven't stopped yet. I'm still moving. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. You can do it. You can do it. Please. Come on, we can do it. We can do it. We can make it. I feel like putting my foot on the accelerator is doing literally nothing. But I also feel like if I take it off, we're going to stop. And I don't want that to happen either. Come on! Come on! Come on! We made it! Yes, we made it! Oh my god. Hallelujah. Fill her up! Holy shit. That's... I can't believe that. I really didn't want to pay for another emergency refueling when we were right there. That is so lucky. We really clutched that. I see I joined at a very tense moment. You did indeed, Peugeot, you did. Nice one, thank you, Ross. We made it, okay. And with that, we can now safely deliver our JCB. Hello, horse lover. How are you doing today? Welcome. Bro, that's a farming sim wheel. The wheel is designed for farming sim, yes, WA, but it is very good for Euro Truck as well. It's actually just called the heavy duty wheel. It's great for all sorts of heavy equipment. Trucks, tractors, buses. But yeah, it is designed with Euro Truck in mind. Hi, Crash and Basham, how are you doing? You only have to say it once, don't worry, I can actually read your comment the first time. Hello, boy. How are you doing, Pupsic? Welcome. Just finished watching the Minecraft stream on YouTube. Nice one, horse lover. Thank you. Good stream yesterday. Really good stream. We finally automated the shipment of biodiesel to the iron mine, which essentially means we have 100% fully automated iron production now. Big, big news. Next week, we're going to try and do the same for coal so that we can finally start making steel for the rocket. But yeah, very good Minecraft stream yesterday. Please, can you play Farming Sim? Next Farming Sim stream will be on Friday. Okay. Thanks for following. Motona, thanks. How are you doing? Okay. I'm just going to have a little drink. Thanks for following Meter. Why did you change your gender? Says Pupsic. Good question, Pupsic. Bit of a complicated question. I do get this question a lot, and I did make a video specifically about this because I do get asked this question pretty much all the time, and it's not exactly an easy question to just answer on the fly, you know, because it's a very complex question, right? But I always felt that there was something not quite right as a kid. I always felt a sort of discomfort with my gender. I mean, as a kid, I didn't really understand what being transgender meant. I didn't really think that it might apply to me. But I did always have a feeling that I wasn't quite at home in my own body, as it were. Let's take this autonomous tractor. So I spent a long time trying to deal with those feelings when I was a teenager. It's normal for teenagers to feel stuff like that. It's normal for teenagers to have body image issues and body dysmorphia and stuff like that. That's just being a hormonal teen. But when I got to adulthood and I still had the same feelings, and I still had this like persistent nagging feeling that something just wasn't quite right. That's when I started to ask myself, you know, could I possibly be transgender? And then I went down this whole rabbit hole of self-reflection and questioning myself. And eventually I concluded that, yes, I am transgender, and I've been out ever since. That was about 4.5 years ago. And it's the best realization I ever came to be quite honest. I can't tell you how much happier I am now. What days do you play each game, says Crash and Basham? My current schedule is Minecraft on Monday, Euro Truck on Tuesday, Factorio Thursday, and Farming Sim on Friday. I'm also currently playing Soma on Wednesdays, but that won't be this week, that will be next Wednesday. And on Sundays, I'm currently playing Oddworld Soulstorm, which will be this Sunday. It's a bit of a confusing schedule, but if you join the Discord server, you can see the whole month schedule. You can see all the streams that I'm going to be doing this month, if you want to know. What's your favourite? I think Minecraft is probably my favourite at the minute. I'm really, really loving our modded Minecraft series. I'm really, really enjoying this. Snowy MX5, why on God's green earth is a low loader going on a bay? Look, I don't know. I just do the deliveries. I don't ask questions. I go where they tell me to go. This is not the same tractor, by the way. The tractor in the tractor in the menu was green. This is yellow. I'm guessing this is from the new Farm Machinery DLC. This is actually an autonomous tractor. It has no cab. It uses GPS positioning to drive itself, which is pretty cool. They haven't really caught on. They're still a bit of an emerging technology, but there's a few of them in real life. Case have made one, Claas have made one, I think John Deere have made one. New Holland... Have New Holland done one? I don't know. I'm on the wrong side of the road, by the way. I forgot that I was in the Netherlands. Whoops. As soon as the light turns green, I will get over to the correct side. Would you ever be a lorry driver in real life, says Crash and Basham? No, because I would probably lose my license within 3 days from driving on the wrong side of the road, and if I didn't lose my license within 3 days, I might well lose my life within 5 days, because I would be in some horrible fiery explosion. I should not be trusted behind the wheel of any vehicle in real life. And I've just never really wanted to drive anyway, to be honest. It's never really appealed to me. It's Denmark? Oh yeah, we are in Denmark. Sorry, I'm also terrible at geography as well, so that's... I mean, I don't know what that's got to do with driving, but it's, you know, fun fact. I'm not good at geography. Thanks for following, Canna. How are you doing? I'm back from yesterday. Good to see you. Well, she says, TikTok could really use more people like you, articulate, composed, and open-minded enough to handle trolls with calm, informative replies. Thank you very much, Welshie. That's incredibly kind of you to say. I've always thought that being I try to be as level-headed as I can. I've tried to always, you know... I don't let people's comments get to me, because at the end of the day they are just people on the internet who I'm literally never going to meet in real life, so why should I care? But also, I've always thought that the best way to foster understanding is to answer questions calmly and openly, you know? How are people going to understand me as a trans person if I just, you know, push away any questions that they might have? Even if people ask questions disingenuously, like, which people do ask questions that are sort of trying to bait you into a specific answer or whatever, you know, when they ask questions like, you know, have you had it chopped off or whatever. But even questions like that, how are people ever going to understand me if I don't at least try to answer those questions as calmly and openly as I can? So yeah, I've always thought the best way to help you to understand me is to be an open book, ultimately. Your mum's okay with this? She is, NZA. Yes, my family are very supportive. My mum and dad have been great, as well as my brothers and sisters. I've got quite a big family, and I've been very, very lucky, because everyone in the family has been so open and accepting. It's really great. It's been absolutely incredible, the support that I've received. And I'm aware that not every trans person is fortunate enough to be in that situation. A lot of trans people don't have very accepting families. But I've been incredibly, incredibly lucky. I really, really have. Everyone's been so amazing. Oh, where do I go through here? This one? Is it this? Is this one? I don't know. I'm in the wrong lane. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I think I'm okay in this lane. £194? Fuck off. For a toll? Are you joking? I mean, I've got 12.5 mil, it doesn't matter. 200 quid, nearly. Okay. I've got my indicator on still. Okay. How long do your live streams last? 3 hours, Crash and Basham. Most of my streams are 3 hours, so today we'll be finishing at 6 PM UK time. Or Bob says, just asking, if driving isn't appealing, how can you play a game where all you do is drive? Good. That's a very valid question, or Bob. The thing is, driving in a video game is fun because you don't have any of the risks or responsibilities of driving in real life. You know, if I'm driving in real life, then I'm actually putting myself and other drivers at risk, you know. Whereas in a video game, no one's going to get hurt. I mean, I could, like, just swerve to the left right now and roll over into the oncoming lane. No real person is going to be hurt by that, you know. And that's the thing for me. Like, driving in a video game is fun, but driving in real life, I just don't... I wouldn't enjoy the risk and the responsibility that I have as that I would have as a driver. And I think that too many people just drive for the sake of driving. I think there are definitely some people who shouldn't drive, but they drive anyway. I think people should be able to look at themselves and say, I am not suitable. I'm not a suitable person to be driving. But unfortunately, they don't do that, and most people will just go ahead and drive anyway, and then they'll have a crash and kill somebody. Because people don't like being told what they should and shouldn't do, believe it or not. Do you drive a car? I don't drive a car. I don't drive anything. I don't drive at all. No car, no truck, no tractor. Nothing. I've got a unicycle, which I still don't quite know how to ride. I've only had it for about a year. I'm still learning. I'm in the wrong lane. Again. Dirt bike. I can ride a bike. I don't own a bike currently, but I do have a bike. I don't have a bike, but I can ride a bike. Actually, me not having a bike is part of the reason that I got a unicycle, because I believed, and I still believe, that a unicycle, if I can learn how to ride it, a unicycle is way more practical than a bicycle. Because it's half the size. It's like not even half the size, it's like a quarter of the size. It's literally just a wheel. You know, if I can learn to ride a unicycle, then I can take it everywhere with me. I can take it on the bus, I can take it on the train, I can just pick it up and carry it, you know, when I'm too tired to ride. I think genuinely, if you know how to ride it, a unicycle could be an incredibly practical vehicle. Which is why I decided to get one, and I do fully intend to learn how to ride it. And I'm still getting there with it. I can ride in a straight line for about 5 meters, but that's about it. It's easier said than done. But I would very much like to learn how to ride it and genuinely use it as a bike, you know, just to get around. Why don't you drive, says Rugby Rizzler? Because I don't want to drive. I don't want to drive, and I don't trust myself to drive. And as I was saying earlier, I think more people should, you know, more people who aren't suitable for driving should admit that they aren't suitable for driving and not drive. Got my test on the 5th. Good luck, Tarot Fox. Best of luck to you. £143 again for another toll. That's ridiculously expensive. Why? I don't understand that. Does a unicycle have brakes? They don't have brakes, Crashman. No. You can get them with brakes, but a standard unicycle, no brakes. Welshie says, I only drove when I had to at 30 with a family. I got so lazy. That's fair enough, Welshie. That's another thing as well. Like, I don't really have any reason to drive. Like, even if I could drive, I probably wouldn't, and it'd just sit on the driveway, and I'd be paying for an MOT, tax, and everything else for a car that I don't actually use, that I maybe, like, use once a week. I just don't see the point in getting a car that I don't want and wouldn't use anyway. Thanks for the GG, Jack, by the way. I don't know when you sent that, but thank you very much. If you could choose, what would be your favourite vehicle to drive? I don't know. I quite like bikes, to be honest. I really enjoy cycling. Again, like I say, part of the reason that I got a unicycle was because I enjoy bike riding so much, and I wanted... Basically, the practicality of bicycling... Is bicycling a word? I wanted the practicality of cycling, but even more practical, which is why I decided to get rid of my bike and get a unicycle. But yeah, I like bikes, I like cycling. Where's Kitty today? There he is, BPL. There he is. Driving the Scandinavia refresh right now? Unfortunately not, Duke Boot. I'm still on version 1.56 because of the mods that I'm using. I know that the 1.57 is in open beta right now, but I haven't subscribed to it. Is playing on a wheel fun? I want to get one. It's so much fun, Bella. It completely transforms the experience. You know, look, playing with a keyboard and mouse is fine, but as soon as I got this wheel, I just never looked back. I can't imagine going back to a keyboard and mouse now that I've experienced playing the game with a wheel. It makes it so much more immersive. It feels like such a different experience than playing with a keyboard and mouse, or even a controller. Like, having an actual physical wheel here in front of me, it really does make it so much more immersive. And obviously all the other gear helps as well. I've got the gear shifter and the handbrake and all the controls and the ignition lock, you know. But the steering wheel obviously is the best place to start. But yeah, definitely recommend getting one if you're interested. And this is a good one to start with. If you play a lot of heavy-duty driving games, like Euro Truck, Farming Sim, stuff like that, this is a really good wheel to get. It's not really suitable for racing games, because it's not a racing wheel. But yeah, if you want to do heavy-duty driving games, the Logitech G Heavy Equipment Wheel, really, really good place to start. Really recommend. How much was your setup, says Barney? My entire setup, my entire PC, was just over £2,000. The simulation gear here was about 400. The PC itself was 1,000, and then another 600 for like monitors, keyboard and mouse, headphones, webcams, and all that other stuff. So about 2,000 in total. Half of that for the PC, 400 for the simulation gear, 600 for everything else. How much is the wheel? The wheel was £230. I got it as a bundle with the side panel here. It's called the Logitech G Heavy Equipment Bundle. Like I say, it costs £230 brand new from Logitech's website, but you can get it cheaper elsewhere, and you can obviously, you know, if you look on eBay, if you're not bothered about getting a second-hand one, you can definitely find it cheaper elsewhere. But brand new, 230 quid. Do you have pedals? I do have pedals. I've only got 2 pedals, unfortunately, brake and accelerate. No clutch pedal, but I am hoping to get a clutch pedal quite soon, you know, for a bit more realism. What's the point in this game? You drive trucks and you deliver things. Right now we're delivering an autonomous tractor. Oop. And nearly swerving off the road in the process. Nice setup. Thank you, Barney. If you want to know more about my setup, by the way, check out my third pinned video on my profile. The thumbnail is a shot of my PC. But if you check out that video, it'll tell you everything about my setup, where everything came from, how much it all cost, and all that kind of stuff. CD Plays says, I have the T248, just got it, and I regret buying it because I like the wheel you have now. Oh dear, that's unfortunate, CD Plays, because I was actually planning on upgrading this wheel and getting a T248. So thanks for the heads up, I might have to reconsider now. Hey Upsall, how you doing, Rich? Welcome. That's the thing as well, like, this is actually genuinely, this is a good wheel. This is a good wheel, it's cheap, but it works. It does its job, and it does its job well. And I think there's always going to be someone whispering in your ear, there's always going to be someone like, oh, well, that's, you know, why have you got such a shit wheel? You should spend £700 and get this really expensive one that's really cool. Like, ignore them. Ignore people who tell you to just get the most expensive thing because expensive equals better. They're lying. Okay? If you get quite often, the cheapest option is still a really good option. This, I'm not going to pretend that this isn't a good wheel, because it is a good wheel. Yes, it's cheap, but you get what you pay for. It's good value for money. And there's always going to be someone like Monnery here who says, bought a kid's toy for the same price as a Moser R3. Once again, not a kid's toy, not the same price as a Moser R3. It does its job. If you just ignore the people whispering in your ear saying, why did you buy that? That's cheap, it's rubbish, you should have bought the more expensive one. Ignore them. Ignore them. Ignore people like Monnery telling you to fork out hundreds of pounds for a really expensive wheel. The cheapest option is quite frequently a good option. Where you been? Not seen you for a while. I've still been here, Rich. I haven't played Euro Truck for a while, but I have still been streaming fairly consistently. Expensive's not always the best. Exactly, BPO. Very true. Very true. It's just snobbery at the end of the day. Ultimately, it is just snobbery. It's like... people have like this really weird brand loyalty. Like, oh, I bought the Moser wheel and it's really good. Therefore, everyone who doesn't have a Moser wheel is a stupid fucking idiot. Like, no, that's not true. Just because you own that wheel and you like that wheel, it doesn't mean that other wheels are bad. And it doesn't mean that cheaper wheels are bad just because they're cheaper. The T248 is really good. I just think the one you have is practical for it. That's true, CD Plays. One of the things that has been putting me off about the T248 is the lack of thumbsticks. It's quite hard to find a wheel with thumbsticks because most wheels are designed for racing, and racing wheels don't have thumbsticks. Hi, how's your day going? It's good, MTB Care. How are you doing? Monnery says, Moser has a whole-ass wheel for truck driving. It does, Monnery. Do you want to tell the class how much the Moser truck driving wheel costs, please? Do you want to share that figure with the audience? Like £200, says Monnery. Okay, and is that for the entire thing, or is it just for the wheel itself? Because fun fact about Moser, they actually sell the wheel and the console separately. So if you buy a wheel from Moser, you also have to buy this thing as a separate piece of tech. So yeah, before you go out and buy this super cheap £200 Moser wheel, bear in mind that you are literally just buying the wheel. You have to buy the actual console as a separate thing, which is going to cost you another £300 at least. So no, it doesn't actually work out being cheaper. Monnery says, so you're clearly uninformed as they sell bundles of base, wheel and pedals. Okay, Monnery, next question. You know what the next question is going to be, don't you? The next question is going to be, how much does one of those bundles cost? Because that £200 that you just mentioned, that's just for the wheel. So now tell us the price of a bundle, please. A Logitech bundle would be cheaper, says Mason. Exactly, Mason. I know that, and you know that. But I just want Monnery to confirm that, because apparently he's having trouble understanding that. The R3 bundle alone for wheelbase and pedals is £300. Okay, here's an interesting thing, Monnery. I'm gonna pull over for a second. I'm gonna pull over for a second because I really feel like you're misunderstanding. So the R3 bundle, which contains the wheels, the base, and the pedals, costs £300. Okay, 300. My bundle, which includes the wheel, the base, the pedals, and this side panel, costs £230. Now let's use our big brain mathematics. Is 230 less than 300? Yes, it is. Do you also get more in this bundle than the Moser bundle? Yes, you do, because you also get the side panel in this bundle. So therefore, not only is the Logitech bundle cheaper, but you also get a whole side panel that doesn't come with the Moser bundle. So which one's cheaper? Shall we use our big brains again? Which one is actually cheaper? It's this. Okay? So thank you for proving the point. Did you pay for the gear stick? I did, Mason. The gear stick is the Thrustmaster TH8S gear shifter. It's 8-speed, and it cost me £70, I believe. Monnery says, and does your wheel have force feedback? Do you get a quality product that'll last? Well, I've had this for well over 3 years, and it's still going strong. And also, I think you're moving the goalpost there, because the argument wasn't actually about the quality of the product at all. It was purely about the price. You said, like, you specifically said that you could get a wheel, console, and pedals for cheaper than this bundle here. Which you cannot, and you proved that you cannot. So now you're changing the parameters of the argument to, you know, have a conversation about quality. The quality is irrelevant. The quality is completely irrelevant. You said that the Moser bundle was cheaper than this Logitech bundle, which it is not. Okay? That was the end of the argument, right? That was the end of the discussion. We're not changing the parameters at this stage. Is this what you do for a living? It isn't, KD274. No, it would be nice if I could make enough money from this to survive on, but no. I make maybe like 50 pence per stream, so definitely not enough to support myself on this alone. Hi Kieran, how you doing? And shift up to 12. Logitech G29 is nearly the same price, says Pay Ingwerson. That may be true, Pay Ingwerson. That may be true indeed. But again, that wasn't the argument. The argument was about this wheel specifically. I don't want to keep arguing the point. All I was trying to say is this is a good wheel and it's cheap. That's literally all I was trying to say. It's a good wheel and it doesn't cost very much. Then we had to turn it into a whole argument about the Moser wheel. It's a kid's toy. Don't care, Monnery. Don't buy one then. If you don't want one, you don't have to buy it. Spend £300 on your Moser wheel if you really want to. Can you turn the wipers on faster settings? I can indeed, yes. Here we go. Turn them up a little bit. Don't replace something if it's not broke. Exactly, Kieran. Exactly. Like I said earlier, I've been using this for 3 years. It still works fine. I really don't care about Monnery's anecdotal, non-existent nephew who has a wheel that's basically the same. I really don't care that you bought a more expensive wheel than me, because, get this, I bought the cheapest wheel on purpose. I bought this wheel because it's cheap. Thank you for the gold boxing gloves, KD274. Sorry I didn't see that straight away. Pappy Chuckle says, just buy an actual semi-truck, it's higher quality than the Moser. Exactly, Pappy Chuckle. Why don't I just go and buy an actual Scania R730 cab and have it installed in my bedroom? Because that will be a higher quality than this £230 Logitech wheel, right? Is this an English-based game? It is, Mason. Yeah, you can translate it to other languages, but it is primarily an English game. I'm not trying to add on to the argument, but didn't you say you needed to get a new one at some point? That is true, Draydog. I didn't say that I needed a new one, but I did say that I wanted a new one. I'm quite looking... I've got my eye on the Thrustmaster T248, which is also a fairly budget-friendly wheel. But it's not really a case of needing to replace it, because this works absolutely fine. I just kind of fancy to change. But again, based on what CD Plays has told me, who's also upgraded recently from this wheel to a Thrustmaster T248, I might actually not bother now. I meant to say, is it an English game with English places? Yes, you can go to the UK, Mason, yes. Just recently installed Pro Mods, and I can say I'm well impressed. It's great, isn't it, Kieran? Big Pro Mods fan. Does the wheel have force feedback? This one does not have force feedback, KD274. But for me personally, I've never really enjoyed force feedback. Like, my controller doesn't have force feedback either. I've got a cheap Logitech controller. That doesn't have any vibration on it. I personally find it distracting. I always found controller vibration distracts from the game, which is kind of the opposite of what it's supposed to do. And I've always kind of felt the same way about a wheel. I wouldn't want... I don't want a wheel that vibrates, because it distracts me, you know. Monnery says, damn, spent £230 on a wheel to not even have force feedback. What is your problem, Monnery? What actually is your problem? Because I kind of feel like you bought a more expensive wheel and now you're salty about it because I got something that works just the same but is cheaper. Is that it? Is that it? Did I upset you because I've got a cheaper wheel than you and you wasted all your money on a Moser one? Is that it? He probably doesn't even have a Moser wheel. You might be right, Ryan. I'm pretty sure that nephew that you mentioned earlier doesn't exist, so maybe he doesn't even have a wheel at all. Maybe he doesn't even have a PC. Maybe he's just here to rage bait, I don't know. Are you open to talk about your transition? I am, KD, yes. I'm very open to any questions you may have about my transition. I've made several videos about my transition if you want to go and check any of those out. But any questions you might have, I'm here to be an open book. I'm here to answer anything that you want to know. Monnery says, all fun calling people liars until the lies are about you. I mean, yeah, it is actually. It is fun calling people liars. Especially when they're lying, you know. It's fun to call people out on their bullshit, you know. How long have you been trans? I've been out for about 4 years, MCB Kerr. Not being mean, but if you turned into a boy or a girl. I'm a trans woman, so I was assigned male at birth. I was raised as a boy. I came out about 4 years ago. Hi, Zachariah on YouTube, by the way. How are you doing? Is your sexuality separate from your trans identity? That's an interesting question, Trent. I don't think anyone's sexuality is totally separate from their identity. I think sexuality and gender are, you know, obviously they're intrinsically linked to each other. You know, like, you can't be a gay man unless you're a man, and you can't be a straight man unless you're a man. So, in the same vein, like, if I... You know, if I was a cisgender man, I would... I don't know what I'm trying to say. The point I'm trying to make is I think sexuality and gender are intrinsically linked to each other, yes. And I definitely think that coming out as trans has helped me to explore my sexuality more as well. Because before I came out, I considered myself a straight man. Like, I considered myself exclusively attracted to women. But now I'd consider myself pansexual. Now I'm attracted to people of all genders, and I'm a lot less restricted in my sexual attraction, you know. And I think coming out as transgender has really made me more comfortable to explore my sexuality like that, and helped me to realise that I was into both men and women. So yeah, I think definitely coming out as trans helped me to discover my sexuality as well. Are you going to do estrogen? At some point, KD, yes, I do intend to do hormone replacement therapy. It's not really something that I consider a priority, to be quite honest. It's something that I'd like to do, but I'm not in any great rush to do it, you know? What's pansexual, says Owen. Pansexual essentially means an attraction to all genders, you know, women, men, non-binary. There's a lot of overlap with bisexuality, but there's also differences. It's a complicated thing. It's complicated. In layman's terms, it's basically the same as bisexuality, but, you know, it's a bit more complicated than that. Would you date someone non-binary? I would, Trent, yes, absolutely. Zachariah says, I respect that, glad to see you doing well. Thank you, Zachariah. Would you transition into a Moser wheel, says Pappy Chuckle. Good one, Pappy Chuckle. I bet this this Logitech wheel wishes that it could transition into a Moser wheel, because they're just so much better, you know. How did your parents take the transition, says Zadam the Great? They took it very well, Zadam, honestly. My parents, they didn't know that I was going to come out as transgender, but I think they had their suspicions. They kind of suspected that I might be gay, because I never really showed much interest in girls as a kid. I never really showed much interest in boys either. Which actually did lead me to, for a while, I did consider that I might be asexual, because I didn't really, you know, in my teenage years, I didn't really feel any attraction to anyone of any gender. But yeah, because I didn't really show much interest in girls, my parents thought that I might be gay. So when I came out as transgender, it wasn't like a total surprise, but it also wasn't quite what they were expecting. So they were very supportive. They were definitely taken by surprise, but they were kind of suspected anyway that I might not be a straight man. So it wasn't a total shock. I'm thinking about transitioning, but I'm scared what they think, says KD. Please don't give any hate to KD. I think saying nobody cares about you coming out is a bit uncalled for, Trent. I definitely do care, and I'm obviously here to support anyone who is struggling with their transition. So you're thinking about transitioning, KD. Tell me more. You know, are you transgender? Are you non-binary? You know, tell me a little bit more about your situation, and I will be more than willing to give any advice if I can. Whereabouts are we, anyway? This drive's taking a bit longer than I was expecting. We may need to sleep at some point soon. Do you believe in religion, says Monnery? I'm not a religious person, no. I believe everyone's entitled to their religion, obviously, and I do have a few family members who are Christian. But for me personally, I've never had any belief in a higher power of any kind. What game is this? This is Euro Truck Simulator 2, Owen. So far I'm bi, but I don't feel satisfied and a bit uncomfortable, says KD. That's totally normal, KD. It's definitely normal to feel a little bit uncomfortable when you first come out, you know. I think everyone goes through a phase of kind of questioning themselves, like, is this real? Am I actually bisexual? Am I actually transgender? Or is it, you know, all in my head or whatever? I think everyone goes through a period of that, which is good. You know, it's good to question yourself as well. It's good to reflect on yourself and think, is this real? Is this really how I feel? And I think that's the most daunting part, to be honest. Like, the scariest part for me was that questioning whether it was real or not. You know, is this genuine, or am I confusing? You know, am I getting it confused for something else? Like I say, I think every queer person goes through that phase of not really knowing if it's the real thing or not. You know, but if you are sure, once you've figured it out and you are sure, the best thing to do, in my experience, is to tell someone. Don't necessarily tell, like, your parents straight away, especially if you're living with your parents. It can always be very risky coming out to your parents straight away. But at least tell someone I told my friends first. The first people that I came out to were my close friends. And you know, they say a problem shared is a problem halved, right? So I think the very best thing to do is just tell someone, anyone, and then you at least know that you've got someone on your side. You know, you've got someone in your corner. And then over time you can gradually come out to other people. Pappy Chuckle says, would like to see some sort of apocalypse-themed truck sim game with zombies, etc. That would be cool. That would be cool. Some kind of game where you're delivering products in the post-apocalypse. Kind of like Death Stranding. Actually, Death Stranding, I feel like, kind of fits the bill in some ways. I was saying nobody cares if you come out, it's your life. Again, Trent, I really don't think that's helpful advice, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, there are people who are at a very serious risk of being kicked out and ostracised by family and friends if they come out. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not as easy as just saying, Dad, I'm gay, and then Dad is like, okay, son, I still love you. It's not always that simple. Some people really do have their lives ruined over this, you know, not to scare people in any way, not to like put you off from coming out, but it is a very serious thing. It's not something to be done lightly, and that's why, like I was saying earlier, it's best to come out to a friend first and like kind of have someone in your corner before you then go to coming out to your family. Why is everyone ganging up on me, says Trent. It's not so much that I'm ganging up on you, Trent, it's just, you know, you're saying that nobody cares, but, like, I care. I'm specifically here to answer trans-related questions. I am a trans person, and I'm here to offer help and advice to other trans people. And when you come on my stream, like, telling people, oh, nobody cares, that really is conflicting with what I'm trying to do, because I do care and I'm trying to help people, you know? Can I get across? I'm getting across. You twisting the point I was making? Look, Trent, I'm not deliberately trying to twist anything, but the way I see it, KD came onto my live stream and said, I'm nervous about coming out to my parents, and you responded by saying, nobody cares. Like, even if that's not what you intended, that looks bad. Someone came to me for help and advice, and you're telling him that nobody cares. I think Trent meant that you shouldn't bother about others' opinions and just be yourself. That may well have been the intention, Ollie. I'm just saying it was worded a bit clumsily. You know, if that was your intention, Trent, that's fair enough. That's absolutely fine. It's just the way that it was worded was a little bit insensitive. Monnery says, if you're hurt by words, you shouldn't have access to social media. You know, Monnery, I am thoroughly convinced that you are actually a child, because your understanding of the world is so ridiculously oversimplified. The world is simplified, we live on a rock in space. Thank you for proving the point, Monnery. If you really believe that we literally just live on a rock in space and that's it, then you're incapable of understanding basically anything. Like, well done, you have a caveman's understanding of the world. Like, oh, we live on rock in space. That's it. That's literally your entire understanding of the world. The fact is, you're trying to oversimplify something that is, in reality, a deeply complex thing. Reality is not simple. Reality is complex, whether you want to deny that or not. Okay, can we try and bring the argument to a close now, folks? Trent said something that was misinterpreted by someone else. The situation is now resolved. It wasn't deliberately malicious, it was just maybe not worded very properly. Let's not start and let's not turn it into an argument. You know, everyone, you know, we're all friends. Well, maybe not. Maybe friends is a bit of a strong word, but we're all here. I come back and we're talking about rocks in space, says Kid AMC. Oh, you've missed a lot, kids. Honestly. Do you believe trans women are women, says Ollie? Of course I do. Yeah. Have fun, I'm off. Thanks for joining, Owen. We'll see you later. It's been interesting. How old were you when you started, says KD? I came out about 4 years ago, KD. And I'm 26 now, so I was 22 then. Do you think people who are not fully transitioned but are women should go into women's prison? I think it should be judged on a case-by-case basis. I don't think that we should lock up sex offenders who are trans women with other women. Obviously, I think that's really stupid. If a trans woman is convicted of, like, burglary, I don't really see a problem putting them with female prisoners. If a trans woman has specifically committed a crime against cis women, like rape, for example, then obviously they should not be put in a prison with other women. Like I said, it should be done on a case-by-case basis, but once again, people want a simple answer to a complex problem, you know? I don't think it's just... I don't think it's as simple as saying all trans women should be in men's prisons or all trans women should be in women's prisons. I think it should be look at it on a case-by-case basis and judge whether that person is safe to be in a woman's prison, you know? I don't think that works in the world we live in. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't work, though, Monnery. That's the thing. Like, I don't see any reason why we can't just say, if you're convicted of a sexual crime, you go to men's prison. If you're convicted of a non-sexual crime, you go to women's prison. I don't see what's impractical about that solution. I think I'm going to have to sleep soon, by the way. We haven't really talked about the game much for the last, like, half an hour, because we've been so busy talking about other things, but I think we do actually need to have a rest soon. As soon as I get to another lay-by, I'm going to pull over for a rest. I'm off. Thanks for the support. Happy trucking. Thank you, KD. Thanks for joining. We'll see you later. Because then a person who you believe is a woman commits a sexual crime and gets sent to a male prison. Okay, so what's your solution? Is your solution that all trans women should go to female prison? Or all trans women should go to male prison? Again, I'm genuinely curious, because like I said earlier, it's not a simple question. You can't just say all trans women go to this prison. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. Like, as you've just indicated, yes, putting a trans woman convicted of sex crimes in a male prison might also be a bad idea. Monnery says, no, I believe that sexual predators should be stood in front of a firing squad. Okay, so that's your stance then. Right, fair enough. So you believe that all sexual predators should be executed? What then do you believe should happen to the non-sexual crimes? So if, again, going back to my hypothetical, if a trans woman gets convicted of burglary, which prison should they be sent to, in your opinion? No, you're completely forgetting the part in the first message I said a trans woman who hasn't transitioned. Okay, so what do you think should happen to a trans woman who hasn't transitioned? Like, I'm genuinely curious. You're asking me the question. I'm asking you the same question. If, let's say I committed burglary. Let's say that I got convicted of breaking into someone's house and stealing £5,000 worth of stuff. Which prison should I be sent to, in your opinion? I'm genuinely curious. I genuinely want to know. I imagine you will probably say male because I haven't medically transitioned. Have you ever played Jalopy? If not, would be a good one to stream. I haven't played it, Pappy Chuckle, but I've heard good things about it. I think I watched Jacksepticeye play it, actually. I used to watch quite a lot of Jacksepticeye back in the day. It does look like a good game. Definitely one that I could imagine myself having a lot of fun with on stream. What's your favourite flavour pot noodle, says the kid. I love sticky rib. I love the Chinese sticky rib pot noodles. If we're going for the classic pot noodle flavours, I like chicken and mushroom. But if we're allowed the fancy flavours, sticky rib. Love that. I didn't check how far away we are. Hold on. Oh wow, we're further than I thought we were. We might actually not finish this drive today. I'm going to go as far as Ornskoldsvik, which I have probably pronounced wrong. And we'll see what time it is when we get there. Oh, wrong gear. Wrong gear. Oh, shit, 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 shit. Okay. I did change lanes to overtake that guy, but he's so far in front now that it was a waste of time. I'm eating chicken and mushroom. It's hard between kebab or chicken and mushroom, though. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the kebab pot noodle. But more power to you if that's your cup of tea. Fair enough. Is it IRL time? No. No. I'm not actually sure what the in-game time scale is, but it's a lot shorter than real time. Chicken and mushroom's best, says Scottish Modding. I agree. Like I say, if we're going for classic flavours, chicken and mushroom is definitely my favourite. But if we're going for the fancy flavours, then I'm going to go for sticky rib. One kilometre is 1 hour. Ah, okay. Thank you, Scottish Modding. So every kilometre that we travel in-game, the clock advances by an hour? Interesting. I didn't know that. I think chicken and mushroom should be original rather than curry. You got a point. You got a point, kid. I do like curry. I do like the curry one. But I do feel like chicken and mushroom has more right to be the original, you know? It's 4 minutes to an hour on ETS2. Thank you, Monnery. It does actually change, though. Fun fact about Euro Truck that not a lot of people know, the timescale actually does change depending on the kind of road that you're driving on, which is really wild. They do it to make it feel like the country roads are longer and to make the motorways feel shorter. So when you're on the motorway, the clock actually moves slightly quicker, and when you're on the country roads, it moves ever so slightly slower. It's not enough for you to actually notice it when you're playing the game. But kind of subconsciously it makes it feel like you're on the motorway for less time and you're on the country roads for a longer time, which is really cool. It's a very interesting mechanic. I'm pretty sure that works by going on speed driving app. It does work off the speed as well to some extent. Yeah, I believe the faster you go, the clock moves slightly quicker. Kid says, I love how I changed the subject from trans prison to pot noodle. Well, that's your average Ashbridge Industries live stream, you know. We talk about all the major issues in the world today. Trans rights, pot noodles. It's a real mixed bag. Okay, I'm going slightly off course here because I want to refuel. Any mods for natural disaster stuff, like a tree falling onto the road or a mudslide? Unfortunately not, Pappy Chuckle. I definitely recommend a game like SnowRunner if you want that kind of stuff. Although I don't know if there's even dynamic weather events in that, to be honest. But yeah, Euro Truck, unfortunately, there's nothing of that nature. You can have diversions. I have them turned off because it ends up putting in like massive detours that take hours and hours. But you can set it so that there are random diversions in the road. Like sometimes there'll be a car crash and you'll have to go a different way and stuff like that. Right, why won't you let me sleep here? This is a sleep point. It's going to be one of those ones where I have to be at a really weird angle for it to actually detect that I'm within the zone. The most dynamic thing in SnowRunner is falling through the ice. That's very true, Monnery. Okay, it won't let me sleep here. I don't know why. Love SnowRunner though. We got to play some more SnowRunner soon. It's been a while. Can we sleep here? I think we can sleep there. Yeah, it's been a while since we did a SnowRunner stream. Just because I think, generally speaking, people enjoy Euro Truck more. But I'm a big SnowRunner fan, as you may know if you're a regular viewer, and I'd definitely like to do some more of it on stream at some point soon. Imagine being able to eat pot noodles at the wheel in ETS2. Oh, I don't have to imagine, kids. Well, I do right now because I don't have any pot noodles, but I've played this game with a pot noodle in hand before. I don't mind admitting. Is that... Nope. Just red light. Have a drink while we're waiting. And we're moving. Shit. So always when I get a drink. Either pot noodle or a microwave burger for me, says Kid. Honestly, no judgment zone. Rustler's burgers, they kind of fucking slap. Okay? I love a Rustler's burger. I don't mind admitting it. Yeah, they're cheap and nasty, but they're so fucking good. I love Rustler's burgers. The barbecue rib one, that's some good shit. Emphasis on the shit, but also emphasis on the good. Whoa! Oh shit. Bollocks. I didn't damage the tractor, did I? No. Okay, thank God. I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, I was distracted. I was thinking about Rustler's burgers. I feel like Rustler's burgers are better than an actual barbecued burger, says Kid. Controversial. Controversial, but I respect it. Maybe in taste. In nutrition, absolutely not. They taste like cardboard to me, says Monnery. Fair enough. It's an acquired taste. For my recommendation, though, put the buns in the toaster. That's how you do it. That's how you do it properly. Buns in the toaster. Just put the actual burger itself in the microwave. That's it. Because I find that if you put the buns in the microwave, they just go soggy. Hopefully Moser will start making burgers, says Pappy Chuckle. Okay, Pappy Chuckle. Very funny. But we moved on now. It's okay. We've shook hands. We've buried the hatchet. Let's have no more Moser talk. Let's just talk burgers. The worst part is burning your hand on the bottom bun. Oh, that's very true, kid. Yeah. And the thing is, for me personally, my toaster is just a little bit too thin for the top bun. So the top bun always gets stuck in the toaster. And I hate having to take stuff out of the toaster when it gets stuck. I'm always terrified. Like, even when I turn off and unplug the toaster, I'm still terrified that even my finger is going to set it off and I'm going to get an electric shock. So yeah, I hate fishing out the bun from the toaster, but it's worth it. It's worth it for that crisp, dry bun, you know? I can't lie, the soggy bun sometimes feels better. This is where I've got to disagree. This is where I've got to disagree, kids. I don't like soggy buns. I've got to say. This is where we differ. I like mine nice and crisp. I like nice, firm, crisp buns. On my Rustler's burger, that is. Okay, it is currently 5:45. We are definitely not getting all the way to Ulu. We'll get as far as Umea, or maybe Skelefter, and see how we're looking when we get there. But we're definitely not going to get the full drive finished today, unfortunately. If it's soft and like a bit chewy, it's I mean, to each their own, kid. If that's what you like, then fair enough. More power to you. Anyway, good stream. I do have to say, it's been a good stream today. Very busy. Not too many followers. Thank you everyone who has followed today, but a little bit slow on the followers. But the conversation's been great. It's been very, very lively, which, you know, I do always appreciate. One thing that you can never say about my live streams is that they're boring. Well, actually, sometimes they are boring when there's only like 3 viewers and no one wants to start a conversation. But I try not to make them boring. Try to make sure that the conversation's always lively, and it has certainly been lively today. There may have been some disagreements. There may have been some coarse words, but it hasn't been boring. Can we see a spider soon? It's so cute, says Anais Bouquet. I'll have to get some pictures of him, yeah. I haven't posted anything about him for a while. But thank you for taking an interest. I'll see if I can get some pictures of him to post. The thing is, he has started to get a little bit more shy. Personally, I think it might be the weather, because it's starting to get a bit colder. It might be making him a bit more lethargic, you know? He's not quite got as much energy. But when it gets to this time of the year, I try to keep the enclosure warm with a hot water bottle. It's also getting to that time of year where I need a hot water bottle, you know, when I take a hot water bottle to bed. So what I normally do is I take the hot water bottle to bed with me, and then in the morning I refill it and like just lean it against the enclosure to keep the enclosure warm. So you could say that we share a hot water bottle. Me and my pet spider. We share a hot water bottle, but not a bed. Because I'd probably squash him. That's so sweet. It is very sweet. It's so lovely to see him. What spider? He is a Phidippus nikites jumping spider. Spiders have naturally more energy in the cold as they need the energy to look for a warm place. I think that may be true to an extent, Monnery, but what you've also got to consider is the way that spiders move. Spiders basically move by hydraulics. They have essentially, instead of blood, they have hydraulic fluid. And like to move their legs, like to move a spider's arm like that, or to move a spider's leg like that, they actually just push a load of hydraulic fluid into it very quickly and very precisely. And that's how they move about. If you watch a spider walk and it looks like they're quite mechanical in their movement, it's because they are literally working like pistons, like hydraulic pistons. But that means that they do get slowed down a little bit in colder weather, because in colder temperatures that fluid gets a little bit thicker and more viscous. It's kind of the same how, you know, with us humans, in colder weather your blood actually gets a little bit thicker because your blood gets colder and it starts to, you know, it starts to become more viscous. Which if you have blood problems, if you have any kind of blood disorder or condition, cold weather can exacerbate that because of how it affects the viscosity of the blood. And like I say, the same kind of thing happens with spiders. They have this kind of this hydraulic fluid, for want of a better word, can become more viscous in cold weather, which can like cause them to physically slow down. They're cold-blooded just like snakes and other reptiles. I deal with this yearly with my snakes. I mean, kinda, yeah. I don't know if you'd call a spider cold-blooded, because they don't have blood at all, as we understand it. But yeah, they are, I guess, technically cold-blooded. All I know is, you know, I've been keeping spiders for 5 or 6 years now, and they always slow down in the winter. That's my observation. That they always tend to have less energy in the winter, and I think that's why. We almost went to the same uni, Saul. I changed to Swansea last minute. Oh, Anais, we could have known each other in another life. We could have met, we could have been good friends. I mean, I'm assuming that you went to uni the same time as I did. I was there, I was at Bath Spa between 2017 and 2020. Spiders are ectothermic. The simple name for that is cold-blooded. Yeah, again, Monnery, yeah, technically they are cold-blooded, but at the same time, they're not actually blooded at all because they don't have blood. Like they don't have a heart that beats and pumps blood around. Again, it works kind of more like hydraulic fluid, which is cold, and so they do technically fall under that category of cold-bloodedness. But they don't necessarily behave the same as other cold-blooded animals, like snakes, for example. Another interesting fact about jumping spiders, actually, while we're on the subject, they actually have tracheal lungs, so they have like similar lungs to what we have. Most spiders have something called buck lungs, which are a very, very primitive kind of lung. They're very different to lungs as we imagine them, but jumping spiders actually have both. They have the same buck lungs that most spiders have, but they also have tracheal lungs like we have. Which is really interesting to think. Jumping spiders have 2 sets of lungs, which most other spiders don't. Okay, it is it's almost 6 o'clock, and I did say we were going to end at Skell F tier. I'm just thinking though, can we get to Lalea? I'm thinking I might carry on to Lalea, because I'm enjoying the spider conversation, so let's go a little bit longer. Hi Devon, how are you doing today? Good, thanks. Glad to hear it. South Devon contracting. But spiders do have blood, also blood vessels. That not to my knowledge, Monnery. They have something similar to bloods, but it's not the same as our bloods. Like, it works differently. I'm going to do parkour. I'll catch up if you're still live after. I'm going to be ending in about 5 minutes, kids, so I think I'll maybe see you on Thursday for Factorio. Thanks for joining, though. Hemolymph is spider blood. You're correct saying it works differently, but it also works the same. They don't have hearts or veins. It just flows through their body. Exactly, yeah, that's what I was getting at. They... It doesn't like pump around the body like our blood does. It just kind of sits there. Anyway, the point I was making though is that in colder temperatures, especially like the temperatures that we get here in the UK, bear in mind that my spider and most jumping spiders that I've kept come from Central America, which is a much warmer climate. It's just a fact that in colder climates they will slow down a little bit, you know? Again, there's a reason that cold-blooded animals tend to live in warmer climates, and warm-blooded animals tend to live in colder climates, right? And it's because cold-blooded animals do better in warmer environments. They survive, they thrive in warmer environments, right? Do you not keep heat pads or anything to keep it warm? Not for jumping spiders, Monnery, no. You don't need heat pads for jumping spiders. Like I say, if it does get too cold, I'll lean a hot water bottle against the enclosure just for a little bit of heat. But most keepers don't recommend giving heating pads to jumping spiders. That's one of the reasons that jumping spiders are so highly recommended to beginner keepers, because they are way less demanding than other species of spider, particularly tarantulas. Tarantulas can have some very extreme care requirements and some, you know, can be very sensitive to heat and stuff like that. Jumping spiders are not too fussy. Most of them are fairly resilient. Like I say, it can sometimes get a bit cold for them, and that can slow them down a bit, but not extreme enough that you'd need to have a heating pad, unless you live in like an exceptionally cold place. If you lived like way up at the very north of Scotland, for example, if you live on the Shetland Islands, you might want to keep a heating pad for your jumping spider. But generally speaking, they don't need them. They can do well without them. Pappy Chuckle says, can't remember what it's called, but fish have that antifreeze stuff in their blood. That's true, Pappy Chuckle, yes. There are definitely certain species of animal that have evolved especially to keep their blood not frozen as at all costs. I think, I could be wrong, but I think the reason that warm-blooded and cold-blooded animals even exist is because of climate. Like, if you live at the North Pole, you're going to evolve to have warm blood to keep yourself warm. Whereas if you live at the equator, you need to keep yourself cool, so eventually you'll evolve to have colder blood. So that, unless I'm very much mistaken, that's the whole reason that animals have warm or cold blood in the first place, is to suit their environment. Again, if you live in a warmer climate, eventually you'll evolve to have colder blood. If you live in a cold climate, eventually you'll evolve to have warmer blood. And it's not universally true. There's plenty of mammals that live near the equator. But as a general rule of thumb, you know. I just drove straight past Lulea, by the way, which is where we were supposed to stop. You know what? I might actually just finish the delivery. We haven't got that much further to go. I think it's only going to take another 10 minutes or so. What the hell? Let's just keep going. Let's just end the stream a little bit late today. Why not? How many trucks in the convoy then, says South Devon Contracting? None, unfortunately, South Devon Contracting. Nobody joined today's convoy. Maybe we'll have better luck next week. That's the great thing about convoys, though, is even if no one joins, you can still drive single player. You know, it's not just an empty world with no other cars about. But yeah, maybe next time we'll get a couple of people in. Fingers crossed. I've had fun though, even though it's been just me. It's been a fun stream. Like I say, some great conversation, and the driving's been pretty decent, pretty consistent. Sorry I can't make it on today. No worries, South Devon Contracting. That's absolutely fine. Oh, we're still in 12th gear. Whoops. Yeah, we can just keep going. We can finish this. What's everyone's plans for dinner? What are you eating? What are you fancying? I actually don't know what I'm going to be having today. I don't know if I feel like cooking. Meatballs, says South Devon Contracting. We actually have some meatballs and a jar of pasta sauce. But again, I don't know if I can be bothered to cook tonight. I might just stick some cheese bakes in the air fryer, which is what I do when I can't be bothered to cook. Chicken and rice, nice one, Monnery. I do love a nice bit of chicken and rice. Actually, ooh, I've got some smoked mackerel. Oh, that could be good. I always like a nice bit of smoked mackerel with rice. Some peas and sweet corn, bit of soy sauce. I love fish. I'm a big fish enjoyer. Many haters today, says South Devon Contracting. A couple earlier. There were a few disagreements, but nobody really too bad. There were a couple of people that got blocked because they were spamming, but for the most part, pretty decent, pretty respectful conversation. Whoops, I accidentally pulled out into the roundabout there without looking. Gotta commit to it now. Too late to go back. But yeah, honestly, it's been a mostly respectful conversation. It got a bit heated at points, but I you know, no hate to anyone here right now. It's been generally a good stream, and I've enjoyed the conversation. Chinese night, chicken curry and noodles. Nice one, Scottish Modding. I respect it. It seems like everyone's having either pasta or rice, some kind of pasta or rice-based dish. Pappy Chuckle says, had a TGI Friday mac and cheese. Ooh, with some McCain microwave chips. Lovely. Love TGI Fridays. I used to work at TGI Fridays. Fun fact. I hated that, but I like the restaurant. I like the food. Because it's cheap and easy to cook. True, true. I mean, I buy microwave rice as well, so it's even easier. Just pop a tilde instant rice in the microwave. The only thing that really needs cooking is the mackerel. Bit of tin foil on a baking tray, bung it in the oven, 20 minutes. You got yourself a smoked mackerel. Easy. I enjoy cooking, but I like easy cooking, you know? I like cooking, but I like to do simple stuff. A bolognese, a pasta bake, lasagna, you know, a curry maybe. I'm not a big fan of baking. Baking's a bit too much for me. It's a bit too hands-on. There's a bit too much work in baking. Monnery says, I just meal prep twice a week and save a bunch of money. I can't meal prep. I've tried meal prepping. It never really works out. I mean, I meal prep in the sense that I decide what meals I'm going to have on a specific day. Like, occasionally I'll sit down and say, okay, this week I'm going to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But then I don't do the actual prep bit. I don't, like, make all the meals in one go and put them in the fridge to keep for the whole week, you know what I mean? So can you really call that meal prep if you're just, like, making a list of what you're going to make on each specific day? I don't know. It's half the work, really. I'm still, like, doing the actual cooking each individual day, so I don't think you can really call that meal prep. South Devon contracting, I love it. My brownies are my strong point. Nice one, South Devon contracting. I wish I enjoyed baking, because, you know, I do love baked goods. You know, whenever my sister bakes, my sister's a big baker. Whenever she bakes, I always love tasting her baking. I wish I enjoyed it more, but it's just too demanding for me. Like I say, a simple recipe is one thing, but I'm not the biggest fan of baking. It's preparation in a sense, makes life easier knowing what you're having for the week. Exactly, Monnery. Like I say, I just haven't gone the extra step of doing the actual cooking in advance. But I do usually plan what I'm going to have. I've just had a slight crash there, but I'm hoping that nobody noticed. I mean, you notice now, because I just mentioned it, but moving swiftly on. Baking's hard to get into, but so worth it, says Bertie Boys. True, Bertie Boys. Like I say, I can see it being worth it. I just have so much other stuff on my plate. It's kind of... I kind of cook to feed myself, not for the enjoyment of it, you know? I don't just... I never just feel like, oh, I want to cook tonight because it's fun. I'm always like, I want to cook tonight because I need to feed myself, you know? So again, I wish I could enjoy baking, but I just don't really have the time to get into it and to really enjoy it. Same with cooking. I'll do simple recipes, but just so that I can feed myself, not because I'm actually enjoying the cooking. Still got my indicator on. What's your favourite meal, says Bertie? Good question, Bertie, good question. Look, this is going to sound very, very British of me, but I genuinely love a full English breakfast. Whenever I eat out, whenever I go out for a meal to like a pub or a restaurant, I do like to sample the full English breakfast. A proper full English breakfast. It fills you for the whole day, you know. It's an all day breakfast essentially, you know. It's very filling. And when I say a full English breakfast, I mean the works. I mean everything, you know. Sausage, bacon, eggs, black pudding, hash browns, mushrooms, tomatoes, beans, slice of fried bread, the lot, the job lot. But a full English breakfast, can't beat it. Or another classic, I like a nice fish and chips. That's another one that I eat quite often when I'm out at a restaurant or whatever. A well-made fish and chips, very simple, but it's good. It's a good meal, you know. Like I say, I like a nice, simple but hearty meal. Although maybe full English isn't necessarily simple. The individual elements are simple, but you've also got like 50 different things to manage. So inevitably, when I make a full English breakfast at home, something ends up getting burnt. Anyway, we are here, which means we have arrived at the end of the stream. It's been very good. Some great conversation about food, which has made me hungry, so I am going to have to go and make myself something to eat shortly after the stream ends. But it's been good. Been good fun. I'm just going to park this up, and then we will wrap things up as usual. But thank you everyone for joining. It's been a wonderful day, wonderful stream. Ignore that slight incident there. We've actually done well on the crashes today. We've had a couple of very minor glancing blows, but nothing serious. I think we've done a good job. There we go. Awesome stream. Thank you, Bertie. That is where we are going to leave it. So I'm going to quit the game now. Close the convoy. Accept progress. I think we'll accept progress. Sorry, I just yawned a little bit there. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Anyway. Okay, big camera, please. Thank you very much. Let's have some music. There we go. Okay. So thank you everyone. Thank you for joining. Great stream. I've had a good stream. It's been a good one. Like I say, great conversation. Not my busiest stream, but it's been a lot of fun. Thank you everyone who's followed today. It's very, very much appreciated. Some great trucking and some great conversation as well. The next live stream is going to be Factorio on Thursday, so do please come along and join me for that. And then I'm also going to be doing Farming Sim on Friday and more Oddworld Soulstorm on Sunday, so quite a full week. But yeah, if you want to join me for the next stream, it will be Factorio on Thursday. In the meantime, There's a couple of videos that I'm working on, but I don't want to confirm any kind of release dates for anything because it's all still kind of up in the air. But there are at least 3 videos. Sorry. There's at least 3 videos that I'm working on at the minute. So I can't give you any more information on them. They'll be here when they're here. If you have enjoyed but you haven't already, please do follow, and please do remember to follow and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch as well. Thank you everyone who joined over on YouTube and Twitch too. It's been a great stream over there also. If you would like to join the convoy next time, then please do join the Discord server. It's also a great way to keep up to date with when I post and when I stream, and just generally chat to me outside of the live streams. So please do consider checking out if you're interested. And of course, if you would like to support me financially, please do consider checking out the Patreon like these fine folks here. Thank you very much to Kate, Jess, Danny, Riley, P, Charlie, Dan, Amy, and Marika. I think I said everyone. I didn't miss any names there. Thank you everyone for supporting me over there. If you want to get your name on this board, please check out the link in my bio. It costs £1 a month. I think it's £1.20 after tax. You get your name on the board, you get a shout out on stream, you get access to behind the scenes content like bloopers and early access videos, and you'll be supporting me in what I do here on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. So thank you once again to Kate, Jess, Danny, Riley, P, Charlie, Dan, Amy, and Marika for supporting me on Patreon. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so very much. Please check it out if you're interested. And with that, we have reached the end of the live stream. So everyone, go and enjoy your evening meal. Go and enjoy your rice or your pasta or your TGI Fridays burger with McCain's chips. Whatever you're having, enjoy the rest of your evening. And I will see you all on Thursday for Factorio. Thanks everyone, and goodbye. Oh, hold on. The stream is currently at 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 25 seconds. I'm going to wait till we hit the 3 hour mark. I like hitting the 3 hour mark. Okay? Any second. Okay. 20. 19. You can go, by the way, if you want. I'm just going to count down and then end the stream. Okay, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Bye-bye, everyone. See you next time. 3, 2, 1. And bye-bye, Twitch.